As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff Booner and Lucas. It is Tuesday, May 27th, and we are back. After a great Memorial Day weekend, the boys had Monday off. I hope you all had a great, fun, maybe you were indulging, maybe you weren't in some alcoholic beverages, but hey, hope you all had a great
some of the boys had a 4-day weekend.
Yeah, that's true. That's on me, fellas. That is on me. Accountability needs held. I was telling Caleb on Saturday, bro, because I had jiu-jitsu Friday nights, I just can't sit down. Can't do it.
It's the couch. That's what I was. That was what the reports were saying. The couch got the best of Klotzy.
Klotz was on IR via
Dude,
couch.
I woke up and it was 2 a.m. It's one of those things where, like, I looked.
That's scary.
It was like 8. Next thing I know, it's like, 2 a.m. Because my phone died, dude. I set the alarm, like, I'll be up. Nope. Stayed down.
So you woke up at 2 a.m., no phone.
I was like, dude, what happened? I was like, this is just a mess. I didn't know what time it was, what day it was. Just sweat my ass off.
Yeah, no, Caleb joined.
Caleb
just yelled at the camera for like 15 minutes with us, and then you guys did the show Saturday. And then fun. I listened to you talk. Yeah, it was a good show, man. And, and Monday we had off, and now we're back. So I'm fired up, boys. We got some, by the way, like for the people, for all the people listening, and we're gonna talk about this later too, but boys got some things planned. You know what I mean? I'm fired up.
Good week. Hey,
what do we have planned?
Coming down the pipe.
Oh, I mean, we can announce them, can't we? Are they confirmed?
Tomorrow.
Are they not? Are they first? Are they confirmed, Jeff? Did you get a confirmation?
It's confirmed.
All right.
You go ahead.
I'll make the announcement tomorrow night, 8:30. I know it's typically John Macaroon, the Doc's day. It is not the Doc's day tomorrow. He will be on a little bit later. Detroit Lions legend, one of my favorite Lions ever. I remember the last few years saying, sign this man to an extension. Fullback Jason Cabinda will be on the show tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. He will be on. And then we'll have the Doc on following Jason Cabinda. What a follow for the Doc, having an absolute legend. And then on Thursday, I'm not sure on the time. Jeff, you might know. Tyler Conklin will be hopping back on the shows with the fellas. Just talk some ball. Has a camp coming up that hopefully people can get out to. We're going to be out there as well. So Jason Cabinda, John the Doc Macaroon, and Tyler Conklin. What a trio of guests for the week, man.
That's a big three right there. You got the Doc, who's all love the Doc, and if he's watching, compared to Cabinda and Tyler Conklin, he's a whopping 5'6". 5'7" from the Doc, and then you got 6'1" Cabinda and 6'3" Tyler Conklin. Just a bunch of alphas, man. I'm fired up. It's gonna be
a big week of guests. I'll say this too. Someone in the chat said, "Who told the Doc to piss off?" I'll say this. I'm not going to say the text I'm getting from the Doc today when I wake up, but the text I'm getting from the Doc, the Doc's doing just fine, man. That man's doing just fine. He's
doing great.
Yeah, he's doing good. He will.
Doc's gonna Doc.
We'll tell Doc, hey, Doc, we need you this time. Doc will be like, hey, boys, I'll be there. I appreciate it. Yeah. The Doc, he's very flexible. That's why we love the Doc. Chesterfield legend, Tyler Conklin, Jeff Iafrate.
That is true.
Chester Tucky. It's
Chester Tucky.
Yeah.
No, what does that even mean?
You just don't get it. See, Boone's understanding it. Klotzy, it's tough. You gotta. It's tough. If you're not from Chesterfield, you don't know about Chester Tucky. But
Chester Tucky.
I'm not happy.
The next couple days, man, I'm fired up. Good content, talking with some good people. But until then, we do have news that we have to get to. The Lions, boys, they made a signing. they made a signing that Klotzy couldn't stop gooning over today. I mean, this guy's in the chat like every time.
I don't think. We have to have a limit per year of how many guys Klotzy can claim.
I wasn't having.
You can't claim everyone. We can't. Klotzy cannot claim every guy that gets signed.
I don't think I was going off about it. Was I? in the
You were
chat.
gooning. No,
No way. You just want to.
No, I think, to be honest,
say goon right now.
Me and Klotz kind of were actually on the same page with him. So I
just like going at Klotz. He was good. It's like Klotzy, his ball brain starts activating. He's like, oh, former Houston Texan linebacker Zach Cunningham, the legend, is joining the Lions. It was announced today. They are adding him. He's not, I would assume at this point, not what he was with the Texans, but he's been a part of a couple different teams. He played for the Titans, and then he played for the Eagles, and he played for the Broncos after that. So he's been a part of a couple different teams. With the Texans, he was really productive, had a couple 100-plus tackle seasons. He was really good for them. But just over the last couple of years, the last time I told you this earlier, Lucas, I don't know about you, Boone, like when you first kind of heard about Zach Cunningham, for me, it was with the Eagles. That's when I first started seeing him. I didn't really know much about him beforehand. But I do know that last year with the Broncos, just didn't really work out. Could it be more of a Quan Alexander signing? Probably. But I want to get to the Alex Anzalone kind of point of this whole thing. But what do you guys – we'll get to that after. But just Zach Cunningham part of it. To me, it's just the body. They cut a linebacker, I think, in camp already.
Yeah.
Not someone – and it's not anyone of significance that no offense to him. But this seems
they cut him to – or they cut someone to add Zach Cunningham. I would say this, and I'll say, like, with Klotz, yes, it is a quiet, if you want to call it a Klotzy piece. Every free agent the Lions sign all time, Klotzy piece. It's water. Hey, Klotz, we don't want to water it down. I want you to
Very
think
fair.
about that.
Very fair.
But I think it could be something where it's more so depth. The one thing that I think of, and a lot of people kind of went towards Alex Anzalone, like, does this mean Anzo's not going to be around for OTAs? Does this mean for training camp he might be sitting out, that they're going to play the long game with Anzo? I personally don't think it means anything with Anzo. I think Anzo's good to go. I think it's more so, if we're just being completely honest, I think it's depth in that linebacker room, because guess who else is coming off a major injury? Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means Rodriguez's injuries, like maybe his timeline is a little longer than expected, or not even as expected. They knew it was going to be a long kind of recovery. And hey, let's get another body. And I feel like that's a good vet piece. He was injured last year, I believe, for a little while. Only played 7 games, had like 3 tackles, if that combined. So I don't know. I don't think this is a piece where it's like you're expecting much. It's kind of like Jamal Adams, Bruce Irvin, where it's just like, just getting a body in there. And
Bruce Irvin.
Yeah, David Long. David Long. Yeah, if something comes out of it, cool. Not expecting anything to come out of it. Yeah, he was good in Houston. I'm with Klotz on that. He was good in Philly 2 years ago. Obviously, something happened over the last 12 months. I don't want to say it's his age, because Anzo's older than him. But obviously, you see it all the time in the NFL. Guys, there's quick fall-offs, man. And It sucks, but it's a physical game, so that just happened. So, yeah, if he comes in and ends up doing what he did in Philly 2 years ago, then, okay, that's a massive upgrade, and that's probably what the Lions are looking at. Like, there's really – it's a win-win situation. There's no loss in this. Like, best case scenario, he ends up being good for you. Worst case, you got a guy on a practice squad who's a vet, right? So I like the signing. I think it's more so that Rodrigo path, though, like what's going on with him.
Yeah, I mean, boys, you know why? He might be younger than Anzo, but he doesn't look like Anzo, because that boy Zach Cunningham, first couple years, was getting 164 tackles, 100 tackles, 120 tackles. Anzo, he was playing here and there, played 4 years with the Saints, really only played 2. But Zach Cunningham, again, I'm not going to go Denzel Hims route with this, because I don't think he's going to come over and be some linebacker that's going to overtake Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, even when Malcolm Rodriguez gets healthy. But when I look at, okay, Zach Cunningham, Ben Neiman, Trevor Nowaski, David Long, all those guys, I think he's right on that same tier. And that's very fine, Boone. I think Trevor Nowaski is a very good football player, but all they're doing is just add more bodies like that in the room. And with Kelvin Shepard as a defensive coordinator, obviously was in the NFL for a good amount of time playing linebacker. I mean, 2 years ago, it's not like it was a generation ago. He was playing at a very good level with the Philadelphia Eagles. Wasn't a star linebacker, but he was holding his own, was a good contributor to that defense, which was, at least against the run game, pretty good. If you can just get a little bit out of him, something close to that, that's a really good linebacker 5 or 6 to have. I think when they let Jalen Reeves-Maven go, he could be kind of like that special teams ace as well if he makes a team. If he looks good, it's going to be a really good depth piece. The question is he going to look good? It's way too hard to tell at this point just because, again, in Denver, he hardly played, but then before Denver, he's in Philadelphia making plays. Physical linebacker was really good in coverage too, at least his last year in Philly. So he's going to bring a depth piece for this whole front seven if you're able to get him through camp. He's looking good.
Yeah, and two, I get what you're saying, Klotz, but like I don't really want to look at what he did in the past because I'm guessing the fact that what he did last year, the fact that he wasn't signed to anyone and that he's kind of just getting brought in to kind of find a spot in camp and hope that he makes the team. I don't want to take it as a serious like this guy could really be a piece for you. If he does, he does, but I don't want to get my hopes up with it, to be honest. I think there's a reason why he played 7 games last year, even if there was injuries. And that he wasn't signed yet. And he wasn't like a big name in free agency where people were like, oh, I think it was just more so like, okay, let's get this guy in the building. If something comes out of it, okay. Like, I think they would prefer, and this isn't me being biased, I think they would prefer, I don't know what happened there. I think they would prefer guys like a Trevor Nowatzki or let me pull up the linebacker depth chart real quick. I just want to make sure I get I don't want to miss a player. I just think, like in-house guys who have been there over the last kind of
he's not
year or two, I just feel like they would sit back and say,
he has
and he has the more talent than them, but it's just more so, hey, they're probably going to look at those guys more because they've been in the building and they've been under that scheme.
Yeah, I'm not going to dive too much into what it means for the defense. I think the bigger storyline would be what's going on with Alex Anzalone. What is this? Because I don't think, like to your point, it means, oh, they signed Zach Cunningham. You know, your move, Alex Anzalone, like it doesn't mean that. Obviously, Alex is a significantly better player. But I think I'm at the point, I talked about this in a video today where I want Alex Anzalone to be a Lion. I think we all agree. We want Anzo to be a Lion. But I think the terms that I shouldn't say that. The terms that I'm comfortable with, that maybe you guys may be comfortable with or maybe disagree, is I'm okay with Anzalone at a 2-year deal, nothing more. And it's front-loaded. Yeah. That's where I'm at with Anzo. I would love him back. He's a really good player. But I think when you look at who you have to extend, which are guys like Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Jack coming down the pipeline, all these guys. I mean, when you look at the 10, because I think 10 million is what Anzalone's going to get. So when you look at that $10 million per year, now it's not going to be the cap hit. I get all that because it's how it's structured. But just look at it in a vacuum. The $10 million, that's essentially half of what you'd pay Brian, Sam, 1/4 of what you'd pay Hutch. Like, it's a lot of money when it comes to extending these guys long term. But if it's short term, I'm cool with keeping Anzo. But if Anzo, which again, all for getting his money, if he says, well, I want a little longer deal, maybe 3, even 4, who knows? Then I just don't see that. I don't see the Lions coming. You have to be, as much as you want to look at these players as, they're Detroit Lions and they're great players and you want to keep them. That's business. I think 2 years, nothing more. And if he does want more, then he'll probably have to get it with another team because this is why you drafted Jack Campbell, to be Alex Anzalone. As much as we like them both, it just has to make sense contractually for the Lions, given who they have to pay and who they've already paid. It just has to make sense.
I think this is, I can't remember who I had the conversation with this last weekend, but it does feel like a little bit where Anzo was thinking in his mind, hey, this is my final year or final contract, not year, final contract. Like knowing the age and maybe he'll get more contracts, but I'm talking about like a bigger deal, like, 12 million, 10 to 12 million. It feels like this is him being like, hey, maybe he does want like 3 or 4 years added on to now to where when he's done, he can retire. That's what it feels like to me that could be happening. But I am with you, Jeff, and I can't say I'm not with you or I'm against you because I've been the biggest Jack Campbell guy on this show, and maybe out in the streets and the media here in Detroit talking about what I think Jack Campbell's about. I think he's a top 10 linebacker in the NFL right now. I've been on that for a while, whether you guys agree or not. And if you have a top 10 linebacker already in your room that you're going to have to pay in the next offseason, why are you going to spend that much money on another guy when you already have a number 1, right? Like, you have a Pro Bowler, in my opinion, in Jack Campbell, potential All-Pro this year. And then you're going to say, hey, let's go all in on Anzo, right? Now, 2-year deal, which he would have 3 left remaining. I'm with you, Jeff. I'd say 10 to 12. I'll go 12 if he's like, hey, I need 12 or I can't stay. I would say, okay, we do need you in our building. We'll go 2 more a year. Like, we can figure out movements or something around somewhere in this building, but we need to make sure we have you in the building. So 12 million max, in my opinion. And I think you roll with that. I'd be interested to see that price, though, when it comes out. You have to keep Anzo in the building, though, in my opinion. You do. Even though you guys know how I feel about Jack.
Yeah, I'll be very adamant about this, and I agree with you, Boone. Like, Jack Campbell should be the linebacker going forward, and I think he will be, especially year 3. I think he takes like that clear jump where it's okay, he's a linebacker of the future. But I don't think by any means, especially when you're in a Super Bowl window, and I understand that the window could be open for as long. You're in a Super Bowl window, okay? And this Lions team is built on stopping the run and being a physical defense going sideline to sideline. If you let Alex Anzalone walk out that door, but you retain Derek Barnes on $8 million or some of these other contracts that we've seen in the past. You signed Marcus Davenport for $6 million. I understand that it's a 1-year deal. But you look at what the Lions say they're built on when extending guys, why bringing them back. Alex Anzalone has done nothing but fit into those little criterias and earn a pay raise. You want people to say, oh, you can go draft a linebacker in the 3rd or 4th round, replace Alex Anzalone. Maybe intangibly. But what Alex Anzalone's been doing on this defense, that experience that he has, especially in the playoffs, going up against these other NFC teams, you're not just going to expect a rookie or a second-year player just to go and do that right away. Could he be good against the run? Yes. Could he be good against the pass? Yes. But Alex Anzalone does for this defense on the field, I would say outside of Aiden Hutchinson, probably over the last 2 to 3 years, the most important player on this defense. Maybe not the best. He might not be at Brian Branch's level or Kirby Joseph's level, but you're talking about being the centerpiece of that defense. Once they get through that defensive line, who are they meeting? They're meeting Alex Anzalone. Before a lot of times Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph can make a play, Anzo's got to do something, whether it's making a tackle or taking on a block in the middle of that defense, where it's been the strength. It's been the nose tackle and linebackers. That's been the strength of this defense outside of Hayden Hutchinson. And I just think if you're in a Super Bowl window and you're looking at these teams and you're looking at this contract, I think the next 2 to 3 years are the best shot you're going to get. Alex Anzalone, again, I'm not breaking the bank for Anzo. I'm only going to extend it for 1 to 2 years. Like, I think long-term, that's not a smart approach to it. But you can't just let Anzo walk out of this town after what he's done over the last 2 to 3 seasons, because we bring up Zach Cunningham, and I do think it's important to talk about, like, yes, Alex Anzalone's older when you look at his age, but before he came to Detroit, he played 4 years in Detroit. He played in his rookie season 4 games, second season 16 games, third season 2 games, and then his last season 16 games. So when you look at it, he really only played 2 seasons practically before he got into Detroit. And even in those seasons, he wasn't the starting linebacker. So there's not a lot. But when I look at Alex Anzalone, I'm like, okay, he's clearly got at least another year of good football at the bare minimum lock. I look at him like, yeah, he's probably got another 2 years. After that 2 years, you're like, okay, maybe that decline starts. But the way that Anzo's been playing recently, no signs of slowing down. Yes, he gets hurt when he's got a teammate friendly fire breaking his arm, but then he's back out there 2 to 3 weeks later, maybe a little bit longer. I'm using that expression, but it looks like the same Alex Anzalone. He hasn't slowed down whatsoever. And I think if you want to say Jack Campbell's a top 10 linebacker, Boone, all power to you. I don't think it's hard to say outside of that Anzo's not a top 20 to 15 linebacker, and he's not going to be costing much. You got Jack Campbell on a rookie contract. Supply the rest of it. But if you can't afford Alex Anzalone heading this offseason, you've done something wrong in the past, in my opinion, with money. And that's where I think, like, you can't – Anzo's been a leader of this defense and this team in general.
He knows, Derek Barnes. That's what he's going to –
Well, even, like, Taylor Decker should not be making $20 million. You look at Taylor Decker and be like, hey, man.
Yeah, I mean –
and it's not just, like, there's – like, you've made
the problem is else. Though it's like deeper. I think it's deeper than like the Derek Barnes and Taylor Decker. I don't think it has, at least in my opinion, like I think it has to do with these bigger deals, and like not just the bigger deals that you have now, but the bigger deals that you're gonna have going into 2026, to where you had to look at a lot of guys and say, hey, we need to restructure your deal. And even when you restructure those deals, you're still probably under the cap or over the cap. So it's like you're sitting there going, yeah. So that's where I think they might end up being in a spot to where I don't want to say Anzo's the guy, one of those guys that ends up being the odd man out. But if he's asking for a 3-4 year deal over 12 million at like 15, it's
that's fair. Yeah, I'd probably no way.
we're probably going to have to be out on you because next year we got to pay Jack Campbell. And if you had to choose on paying a young Jack Campbell who's already top 10 and an older Alex Anzalone who's top, let's say 25, I think every Detroit Lions fan is going to choose one way. And I think we all know which way that is. So that's where when the money comes into place and this is like the first moment. And I'm not saying I think Ansel's going to end up being here. I don't want you guys to think that, but this could be one of those first big moments in this franchise with Brad Holmes that we have all been talking about. There are going to be players that you love and who are important pieces to this team that might be a financial
casualty.
Like it's gonna happen. And it's like, I love Anzo so I think like he's been one of my favorite players with you, boy. Like we love Anzo. Anzo supports the boys. He tweets at us all the time. It's just like that could happen. And I think it's a realistic conversation to have that, hey, he might be going into the final year on his deal and they might not get a deal done. They really might, because obviously there's a tension there because his last tweet he put out hinted at, hey, there's something going on. And he wasn't at minicamp. OTA start tomorrow. We'll see if he's there. So it's such a, hey, he might be playing this season on a 1-year deal. And he might not want to, but he might end up doing it.
I was gonna say, if I'm Anzo, like he's got to do what's best for him. If he doesn't want to play on a 1-year deal, there's going to be a team that will be willing to extend him. You know what I mean? So I would tell Brad, like, hey, you got to deal.
He'll be a Jet if not. He'll go with it.
You got to trade.
Boys, it's like
because
I know it's like you're a Super Bowl. You're like, hey, I'm gonna be like I know you tweeted out at one point like, hey, I'm gonna freak out if Alex Anzalone doesn't get a deal done and he's not a Lion next year because you're gonna have a chance to win a Super Bowl. But if he's asking for that much money, you can't be mad at Brad Holmes for being like, we're not doing it. We can't do it. It's impossible to do. We have to make a decision. And there's a crossroads with some players, and this is the first one. So it's like you can't. Like I know you said you're going to be mad. You can't be mad.
I think
can't play the both sides.
It goes back to like
when you pay a 4-year deal of $15 million.
Like I think it's very, very well within my range to be upset, and I'll just keep going back to it.
So you would be okay then with a 4-year deal at $15 million? Okay, don't listen.
No.
I
can be mad if he does not get re-signed here. Yes, I can be upset. If he's asking for like a $3-4 million deal, that's fine. But I think he knows when looking at this practically compared to Brad Holmes, like that's not the case. Like Brad's never just went out and just been like, here, max you can. Like Alex Anzalone at that point has to have some accountability too. But let's talk about, okay, you can be mad if he's not brought back to this team because we've seen less players that are way less valuable get re-signed, no problem. So when I look at this, it's like, why didn't you have a plan for Alex Anzalone staying on this team? There should be a plan for Anzo staying on this team.
What I'm saying, I'm not saying you can't be mad at Anzo leaving. I get that. I would be mad if Anzo left. And the people in the chat, yes, you could be mad at Anzo leaving. What I'm saying is you can't play, like no one in Lions, you can't play the both sides of, I'm going to be mad about it, but I also wouldn't give him 3 or 4 years at the money that he wants. That's where it's
I literally 30 seconds ago disagreed with you on that.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, and then you just kept going. I was trying to tell you can't be mad at both. You just cut me off when I said you can't be mad. I kept trying to go, and you said I'm going to.
So it'd be basically, Klotz, that you'd be mad if essentially, like for example, hypothetically, he's traded to the Jets and he gets a 2-year deal.
Like if he goes to the Jets and they sign him for 2 years, $22 million instead of the Lions signing him for 2 years, like that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, Klotz. That's why you cut me off when I was trying to break it all down to you. It's if he ends up signing a 4-year deal somewhere worth $15 a year, no one can be mad. You can't sit there and be like, Brad should have done that. I can't believe.
Yeah,
you can't. Like it's just. And if you are mad, then you should have been on the side of I will pay that money. You can't have both ways. It's
now there's some comments I'm going to get to before because I was speaking of, you mentioned Aleem McNeil. I do have something on Aleem. Mike Reed, appreciate the membership, 13 months. He says, "What's up, Crunch Time and chat?" Hell yeah, Mike Reed, appreciate you, my guy. Low High says, "Now I know why Klotz didn't want Derek back because of this reason. In some ways, shout out Derek Barnes and Klotzy." AG's Burner says, final year of his deal, get a little value for the dude who most likely isn't going to be in the long-term plans and hand the keys over to Jack. And then Randall Small says, would they let Anzo find a trade for a longer deal? Yeah, I would assume if they can't come to an agreement, they would. I don't think Brad's not the type of guy to force him to like play or anything. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Weezy D says there's no reason to guarantee a Jack Campbell contract either. I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Weezy. I think at least from
It's
me,
locked.
yeah, we agree that
Outside
Jack
of an
can
injury.
only get better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unless there's some wild regression. Last year he did show improvement. This year we think he takes another step, and at that point, it's a guy you want to keep around.
Again, I'll say this too, and people can agree with me, disagree or agree, and I know there are a lot of people in the media as well that agree with me. There was a cloud that was covered over Jack Campbell's year because of the injuries and the defensive struggles. And when Anzo came back, that one game that they had that was very, very good. And I was one of those people, too, that pumped up Anzo, and I think he's a very big piece. When it comes to skill-wise and what they do on the field outside of leadership and calling plays out and audibles and all of that sort of things, if you go look at Jack Campbell's year last year compared to Anzo, Jack was better than Anzo in every category. And people say, well, coverage. And you could disagree. You can disagree.
Yeah,
Jack was better in coverage than people think. He had a higher coverage grade than Alex Anzalone last year. Every grade it was higher. All of his stats, obviously, even with injuries, were higher when Jack. Like it just, I think there was a cloud. There was a cloud covered. So when you say that, I disagree. I think Jack's already passed him up. So if we're talking contracts, how old is Jack Campbell right now? 24, 25?
Yeah, he's young.
If that, you're talking about a young linebacker. A young. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the age. A 24-year-old linebacker compared to over a 30-plus-something-year-old linebacker. One guy about to enter his prime, hopefully, and the other towards the end of his career. Which, again, love Anzo. Want to caveat all with that.
I mean, the way you just described the guy, Boone, you should just be comfortable letting him go a little bit. He got passed up in every single category. I mean,
no, I do. I think Jack. You guys could disagree. I don't care if you do, but I just think Jack's better. I've been very vocal on that.
Yeah, we won't go down that again. We'll just agree to disagree.
He is. I mean, it was a fact. I brought every single fact.
Oh, see, we're not doing this, Boone. We're not doing it. We disagree. All right, we disagree. It's a fact. You know what else is a fact? Ali McNeil. Telling people that he's coming back stronger. He said legs getting strong. It's going to be better than before. We got another cyborg dude coming in. By the way, it's from Woodward Sports. Shout out Nick, by the way. He's the one who got the quote.
Nick's been killing it.
Yeah.
I texted him the other day. I said, bro, you're killing it, man.
So Lee McNeil at the Tigers game saying that legs getting strong. It's going to be better than before. Yeah, honestly, I totally forgot about Malcolm because we've been covering Aleem's injury, but then we forget that Malcolm had the exact same injury, so he's going to be out probably the same amount of time as well. So, is there a dog?
Yeah,
I would say that's my dog upstairs. I'm sorry, boys. Quiet it up.
Yeah, Aleem, I'm fired up for Aleem, boys. I really am. I think, we just talk about Jack Campbell under pressure. Can we just state the obvious? Like, I know Aleem is going to take time to fully get back, but like, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I want to see the $25 million man. I mean, can we agree there? Like,
no, dude.
I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Maybe this season will be up and down, but for the next couple of years, you're expecting a dominant.
I need to bring back my segment as we get closer to the season, Jeff. I need to time it out to where it ends up going all the way up to the season. Booner's Lions players under the most pressures of the week. And the first one I ever did, it was when you were on vacation. It was with Klotz. I did a Lee McNeil. With money comes expectations. That was where that quote came from. That man has the most pressure out of anyone, in my opinion. You could say Jared Goff, I guess Johnny Moe, the Johnny Moe show has a lot of pressure.
Yeah, there's a couple. He's up there.
But I think Aleem McNeil, I had it when I thought of it. That was the first person that came to mind because he hasn't produced up to the 20. He hasn't produced as a top 5 defensive tackle as he's paid. And now he's coming off basically back-to-back years with a major knee injury. The man's got a lot of pressure. And I love Aleem, just like with the Anzo thing. But you got to produce. You have to. You really do. Like if you're getting paid top 5 money at your position and you're giving us 3.5 sacks, and then you know what I love, boys? I love those people who are like, he's not a defensive tackle that gets sacks. That's not his job. No, that is his job. I'm sorry to tell you. Aleem McNeil's job is to get to the quarterback and sack the quarter. Now, if we want to have a DJ Reader conversation, he's the one that's supposed to be filling in the holes. No Diddy and doing all of that. That's DJ Reader. Aleem's supposed to get to he is a run stopper. That man should be getting to the quarterback and getting sacks too.
Yeah,
every single person who tells me that and comments that and has ever said that to me to my face, I know for a fact I could go back to a show or something a year ago and I could go find a comment of you commenting, a commenter saying, I expect him to get 7.5 this year. 8.5. He's going to get 9. He's going to do what Justin Matabuke did. He's going to go do that. How did that work out? He hasn't. For 2 years, he hasn't. So that's the expectations is for him to go out there and get that many sacks. Do it for me.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
He's just getting $5 million a sack at this point.
I mean, that's what. Again, this is kind of going back to the conversation I just had where it's like if you can't bring Anzo back, something was probably done in the past a little bit incorrectly. And I think if Aleem doesn't, I'll give him the regular season as grace. Get that ACL healthy, get that knee figured out. If Aleem McNeil come playoff time is 100% and is not out there dominating because we talk about DJ Reader, Tyleik Williams. They just got more help for that interior, that defensive line. So Aleem McNeil seriously has no excuse. If Aiden Hutchinson is out there, you have no excuse. If he fails to look like a game wrecker, I think it's a red flag heading into 2026. And not saying that he's not a good player, but that you overpaid early based on projection because he got paid directly after that. I think it was the Cowboys game. When he came in, I think the game after Hutch, and they were probably like, okay, we see what happens with Noah and Hutchinson. Aleem McNeil just showed out. They were probably trying to get a contract done. Strike it early. But this can come back to bite you in the ass if he doesn't rise to the level that they are expecting him to, because this is a third-round pick who showed a lot of promise, but never really had a consistent season where you're like, this is why you was setting that Aleem McNeil. And you look at that pay, you compare it to Quinnen Williams, Dexter Lawrence, a lot of these other guys, and he's not on that tier yet. So, in my opinion, you have to expect Aleem McNeil to be a game record come playoff time this year.
Yeah, I agree. Give him the regular season as grace. But after that, dude, you want dominant Aleem McNeil.
Remember Hutch in the playoffs 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That run that he went on, like that's what you want out of Aleem. Obviously, you don't care like the numbers, maybe not, but just if you're at that kind of level, if you're getting paid that much money, like when the playoffs come around, you need to be making some plays. And Hutch 2 years ago, man, the man had like what 7 sacks in the postseason or something.
Yeah, but your
5.5
paid players are supposed to do that.
Yeah,
they're supposed to take a step come the postseason. So yeah, it's fair. Well, hey, OTAs are what, Friday? They start?
Yeah.
I thought they start tomorrow. Do they not?
Maybe media starts down there Friday, Jeff. Could be that.
Oh, that's what it is. Media's there Friday.
Yeah.
They're there tomorrow. Okay. So OTAs are this week. Shout out to the doc, Sports Illustrated. I want to show some of the things he's looking for, and then we can kind of add in or take away things we agree with, disagree with, or anything we want to add that we're excited to see for OTAs. Because the doc put 5 storylines to watch for the OTAs this week. So let's get to the first one. He talked about Aiden Hutchinson and his availability. That is one of the bigger storylines. He put it here, Hutch's availability. And I'm not going to read all of it, but basically he talked about how he's fully back, he's cleared, and you want to see him out there. Even though there's no contact in OTAs, it's pretty much a glorified 7-on-7. It's hard to really look at trench play, but you can at least see Hutch out there moving. And he even notes in this, based on how the Lions have handled injuries in the past, it wouldn't be surprising for Hutch to be limited throughout OTAs in anticipation for unleashing him for training camp. So I'm that, you know what? I don't completely disagree with this. I want to see, of course, Hutch, how he moves, what's being reported, but I would like to know the biggest one. And I don't think it happens, but you think he's limited? I don't think. Maybe I'm crazy. If he's cleared, will he be limited in OTAs? I don't know.
I personally think he would end up being just. I think he's like get him back slowly.
Yeah.
Like, what would be the point of having him go? Yes, whether he's fully cleared or not. What would be the point of having Aiden Hutchinson going 100% in every single thing they do? this early on in the process. And you know what I mean? There could still be setbacks. Even though you're fully cleared.
I guess
it's like
May. Yeah, it is still.
Yeah. I do remember when we were at training camp last year, like with Sam Laporta had that quad injury and he was like fully cleared. He was doing stuff at certain points, but like there was also times where it's like, hey, he was sitting out of things. And I think it's just more so to say, just be smart.
Yeah.
Like don't force the issue and end up having some sort of setback going into this year. I don't think it's worth it May 27th or in OTAs.
And you just look at how they slowly just acclimate players back. Not to mention, you're about to pay this man a lot of money, hopefully before the season starts. But that's your franchise. Again, to Booner's point, there could be any setback. A huge, like if Aiden Hutchinson has a setback that sets him back 4 games, just a 4-game stretch to open up the season for whatever reason. Those first 4 games, you're going 2 division games, and you got Baltimore, and then, okay, you got the Cleveland Browns, but now you got Hutch coming back. He's got to be able to rehab and be able to go back to game speed right away. You can't afford to not have Aiden Hutchinson week one. Like, Aiden Hutchinson needs to be out there 100%. So when you have joint practices coming up in a couple months, that's when you want Hutch to be like, okay, you can see he's 100%, he's ready. And even then, I hope that they take it a little slower during that because Hutch, when he gets on the field, maybe it'll take 3 plays. Maybe it'll take a quarter. But eventually, he's going to be able back to 100% being the best defensive player in the NFC North and in the NFC in general. So do whatever they need to do with Hutch just to make sure he's ready with week 1. I don't think there needs to be any emphasis on, hey, OTAs, optional training, you go out there. There's veterans around the NFL skipping it. Players that are Hassan Reddick, all the shit that he's been through. And he's not going to Bucs OTA. So I have no issue if Aiden Hutchinson's there, just kind of walking through the motion, just getting back into his own.
I will say this, too, with OTAs. I just looked it up. It starts tomorrow. It's the 27th through the 30th, and then June 3rd through the 5th. Most teams have mandatory minicamp, which is part of OTAs, where it's just like a couple days that's mandatory. Lions don't. A lot of the teams have the mandatory part. Lions just have 2 sessions of OTA offseason workouts. And because they're doing the Hall of Fame game, I don't believe they have a mandatory one. So I would expect, hey, if we don't have a mandatory camp, I would expect most players to be there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the next 3 days, but that June 3rd through the 5th, that portion of OTAs, in my mind, if I'm Dan Campbell, if you don't show up to June 3rd through the 5th, that's a quick no, especially, you know what I mean? A very, very quick no. And I think typically the mandatory ones, those are the ones with contracts. Hey, if a guy doesn't show up, he's getting fined. I would be interested to see who doesn't show up next week from that June 3rd to the 5th. If Anzo doesn't show up, I know it's not mandatory, but if he doesn't, I would have to think that, hey, there's actually something going on. And that's just in my opinion. I don't know if Anzo and some of the guys will be here the next 3 days, but that next week, that June 3rd through 5th, that's the one in my mind. Hey, let's keep an eye out on that one.
Yeah, that sends a message. You know what I mean? So
even though it's not a mandatory one like it's supposed to be, you would think it's the closest to it.
All right. The next thing John writes here is first look at free agents. DJ Reed mentioned, Rocky Ya-Sin, Avonte Maddox, and then defensive tackle Roy Lopez, linebacker Grant Stewart, all free agency additions. Yeah. I will note, like I said earlier, since it's non-contact, for me, I'll say this right now, I am most excited for wide receivers and corners and safety. That is the most that's the type of battles that you want to see in OTAs. I want to see DJ Reed out there because although those guys can't be as physical like a Terran Arnold, you at least get to see them mirroring receivers. You get to see receivers dealing with press coverage. They're going to get a little touchy. So you get to see the rookie Isaac Tesla out there contributing as well. But for the DB side, I think it'll be good to just see the media reporting on DJ Reed, kind of how he looks out there. Again, although no pads, but you'll get to see him break up some passes. You can get some picks out there. Same with Terran Arnold. I mean, it's not even the free agents, but just the DBs in general.
I think there's a big one that you're missing, and it's Rakestraw.
Yeah,
coming off an injury. I want to know, he had that injury where he didn't play basically the whole season. I'm interested to see how he is. How good does he look? Because obviously you have to go through the recovery. Typically guys, instead of, in the off season having to recover, they're able to hey, let's get back. Let's work on something. Let's get better. He's just been dealing with that injury. So hopefully he comes back. I'm interested to see how Ennis is. That's that year 2 jump that Dan Campbell's talking about. Tomorrow's the first, this is the first week to really see, hey, is he a full go, or is he kind of, I don't know. Who knows what's going on with that?
I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, Ennis is the one I didn't even think about. But it's crazy. It was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to add outside of what you boys said. Just seeing these guys, and again, it's hard because there's no pads, but just seeing them in action, seeing what DJ Reed's looking like against these type of guys, because DJ Reed, you don't know what his role is going to be going into week 1. And it's like you would expect Terrion to take that cornerback 1 role, or maybe they're just like, hey, Terrion left side, DJ Reed right side, vice versa. Doesn't matter. But seeing how he's moving compared to a guy like Terrion Arnold heading into this season could be good for Terrion too, because you know that DJ Reed's a good football player. But if Terrion Arnold's kind of looking at a different level than DJ Reed, that's also very intriguing for Terrion, seeing that he's taking that year 2 step that everybody wants him to, or at least on track to it.
Hey, Rock Ya Sin.
Come on.
Watch the show. I'm telling you right now.
Temple legend.
It's going to be. I'm excited for the DBs and wide receivers. I don't know about Roy Lopez. You're not going to see that.
Isaac Tesla. That'll be an interesting one.
When you get pads on, then you could see Roy Lopez. You know what I mean? Then you could see a Giovanni Manu.
Yeah.
Let's keep it quick. Offensive line position battles. He mentions here. Mentions how the Lions actually returning 4 of their 5 starters up front, except for Kevin Zeitler. You got the rookies, Tate Ratledge, Miles Frazier. And then you got guys from last season that are second-year players, Christian Mahogany, Giovanni Manu, that are going to be in contention to join the starting lineup. Another part of this John mentions is the cross-training part, which you'll see more of. We remember everyone was saying, Tate Ratledge snapping the ball. It's like, guys, they're doing that for everyone,
man.
But I want to see who they continuously do that for and kind of monitor that for the offseason to kind of see who they're cross-training, and they're probably going to do both these rookies. Like, they're probably both going to be cross-trained throughout the offseason. But at least you'll get to see them move. I want to see Gio move, but not just how he moves. I want to see him where he's working at. That's where I want to see. Is it tackle? Yeah. Is it guard? I want to see where Giovanni Manu's working at.
Where is he going to be third string at this year? You're interested.
I
don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I mean, but Tate, Miles, Christian, those guys are guards. Maybe Miles got a little bit center, maybe tackle to him. But Gio, what the hell's Gio? Is he a tackle? Is he a guard? Is he
on the sideline?
Maybe turns out to be a long snapper. I don't know.
I don't even think the conversation should be on Giovanni Manu.
Yeah, this should have never went that route.
Giovanni Manu is the last guy I'm thinking about going into OTAs. I'm interested to see when Friday comes around. They're going to be in day 3 of camp, and the media is going to be out there. I want to see when they go first team or whenever they kind of do some reps like that and they're running through sets. I want to see who's in between Frank Ragnow and Panay Sewell and in between Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker. I want to see who are the first team guys there. And I'm going to ask the doc to keep an eye on that. And they're probably not going to tip their hand, and they're probably going to rotate guys in and out. But I'm interested to see if they have Graham's full-time left guard, full-time right guard. In my opinion, I think that's I don't know. I'm a Graham fan, but I hope we get a report Friday. And I think if they want to be taken serious as an offensive line this year, if they want to be top 3 in the NFL as an offensive line again, as they usually are every year, I want to be able to hear a report on Friday that Christian Mahogany's in there at left guard and Tate Ratledge is the right guard. That's where my mind, I want that to happen. And it's not that I'm force the issue. It's more so that if those 2 guys are starting, that means those 2 guys are dudes and they're ready to go. You see what I'm saying here?
Absolutely.
It's not like it's not like I'm saying, hey, force the issue, just throw them in there if they're not ready. I'm hoping that Brad Holmes has hit on both of those guys and know that's your starting left and right guard. And right away in camp, people are like, that's it. We can't move off it. That is it right there. That's our guys.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only leverage that he has going into the season is that he is that vet. I think it wouldn't be hard that at this point in his career, Mahogany, probably more talented, has more juice, has more bursts off the line of scrimmage. Same thing with Tate. But if Graham's able to go out there in OTAs and practice and still be able to hold his own, and because he's been there so many times and kind of not dominate, but look like that old Graham, if he's able to do that, that's his way to starting week 1.
All right, let's get to the next one. How the rookies stack up. Remember, we talked about it. You get to see Tyleek, Tate, Frazier, but notably Isaac Tesla, who you'll get to see some press coverage from Arnold, Reed throughout the session. You'll get to see how Isaac Tesla holds up against NFL DBs, which I think has to be one of the biggest storylines probably coming out of OTAs. Even though it's early, and I'm not going to overreact if there is some woes. You can't overreact in OTAs. But we're still going to overreact for OTAs.
Yeah.
And Isaac Tesla, if he makes some one-handed catches, we're going to be freaking out, of course, because it's on brand. But Isaac Tesla is the one player out of all the rookies that you'll get to see. And maybe Dominic Lovett a little bit. I mean, whatever, because he's a receiver. But other than, and maybe Dan Jackson, even though he's more of a heavy hitter, you won't really see him until pads get on, I guess, for his skill set. But Isaac, you will get to see how he lines up against Terran Arnold and DJ Reed. I want to see him in press coverage one-on-one and see kind of how he handles himself, because he's got the size, the speed, the hands. He's the one I'm most excited for, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, if it's on rookies, man, it's the D line guys. That's the one. The D line guys is where I don't know, Jeff, because they don't have pads, so I don't know what.
Yeah, I can't even. Like, what am I supposed to take from Tyleek? Like, you know what I mean?
Those are the guys that I want to see. Like, if I'm being honest, it's just like what rookies. I just want to see the guys on the D line in the trenches. I don't really care about the other. Like Tesla, I want to see, but I'm still like sitting there like, hey, he's got another year maybe until we're gonna really rely on him. I think like the Tyleek, Ahmed, Tate, those guys are the guys that right away are gonna have to make an impact, and that's why I'm a little like with the rookies. I'm not too stressed out about the next couple weeks. I don't know. That's just me though.
All right, for I think it's there's one more, the new coordinators. All right, which I am fired up about this. John Morton, Kelvin Shepard. We'll get to see how those guys lead, which you're not going to see like Hard Knocks yet. I mean, I don't know if you'll see that level of like you'll see some chirping. I know Kelvin will be chirping. He seems like that type. He's a high energy guy, passionate guy. I'm excited to see him, or at least what's being reported for him. But Johnny Moe's the one where I want to see how he leads guys.
That's a good one.
That's the one thing I don't really know what to expect, because say what you want about Ben. We know what Ben is. He's a perfectionist. So we kind of knew watching him like in training camp that, you know, he's going to get on guys and he wants things to be perfect. He'll have them redo sets and plays over and over and over again. And he'll get fiery a little bit, even though he's more reserved. But when you're around Dan Campbell, it kind of rubs off on you. I want to see how John Morton kind of balances that. Like, are you going to get more of an intense Johnny Moe, or are you going to get more of a laid back, cool, calm, collected Johnny Moe? That's what because Kelvin, I think I know what I'm getting out of Kelvin.
Klotz, I was going to let you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Kelvin, again, it's hard for OTAs. But Kelvin, I think we all know what to expect. We've seen it before. But Johnny Moe, I don't get it. I don't get a rah-rah feel from Johnny Moe. I don't think he's somebody that's going to be chirping like Deuce was. And I don't think he's going to be like Ben either. But I just think he's going to have that demeanor where it's like actions speak louder than words. Like, it's going to be like a look thing. Like, you're not going to hear Johnny Moe going off. But if somebody fucks up, it'll be like, hey, you already know what Johnny Moe is going to say for it. But I think it's just going to be a smooth operation. He's been around the NFL. Obviously, was a player himself. But I think Johnny Moe, it'll be exciting to watch. But I don't know if that's one where I'm like, I can't wait to see how John Morton acts during these walkthroughs and the OTAs. Like, be fun, interesting. More interested in week one. See how he's calling plays in third and fourth quarter. But seeing those two guys out there finally being coordinators will be fun to watch.
I'm pumped up for it. I just want to see that.
What if he's a rah-rah guy? He's just yelling.
He might be. You never know. I'm excited to see like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like, do they get along? Like, that's all. Yeah, the camaraderie, just the chemistry of like the team with them. Because obviously with Ben, it's like whether Ben had chemistry or not, he was there for 4 years working with the squad. So like that's there and it's built throughout those years. With Johnny Moe, he was there a couple years ago, so he has a little bit of the chemistry. But like being like the full voice of the offense, it's going to be interesting to see how he works with Amon-Ra, how he works with Jared, Sam, Jameer, the O-line. Like it's all encompassing at this point. So it's like you have to. That's going to be a big. What's the offense even look like when they're there Friday? Obviously, they can't talk about like exact plays, but are they able to, like, is Doc able to report and tell us, like, does the offense look a little different? Does it have a little bit of a Johnny Mo twist to it?
What if they just do trick plays right off the rip?
Oh, I would respect it, to be honest.
Shots.
You got to respect it.
Oh, I mean, now we respect it. All right. I mean, so no one's going to be a little, oh, really? He's doing fancy to all this trickery. 3rd and 1, run the ball, Johnny Mo. That's how it's going to be, I promise you. All right, I want to get to the PFF article because they ranked linebackers, which I know Boone's are. This is for Boone's narrative. I already know. When he throws this in prep, I know it's.
It came out like today. That's why I was. They ranked edges yesterday as well. So tomorrow we could talk about the edges. So I want. It's that time of year. They're doing positional rankings. We have to talk. What did we talk about last week? We did a quarterback. They did quarterbacks last week.
Yeah. They did linebackers, so we'll get to that. But before we do,
don't you put that on me, Jeff Enriquez, Iafrate.
Before we do that, Bleacher Report posted an article. It's a move every team should make, and they did the NFC North. And this is the move the Lions should make before the season starts. And the move for them is signing a player they've already met with, and it says Demarcus Walker, the edge for the Bears, who played last year and had a couple sacks. And it says here, Demarcus Walker moved between the defensive line and outside linebacker early in his career with the Broncos. After settling in as an edge rusher, he provided quality depth and started in 29 games over the last 2 seasons with the Bears. The Lions cut Zadarius Smith. Marcus Davenport has missed 28 games over the previous 2 terms. 2 terms. That's an interesting way to say that. Walker would be more of a reliable starter and rotational pass rusher opposite of Hutch, who's been working his way back from a fractured tibia and fibula. So Demarcus Walker, we've by the way, remember, boys, I told you guys this is going to be the signing. Everyone's expecting Zadarius. It's going to be Demarcus Walker. I promise you. They've met with him already. He's still a free agent. He's big. He's like 6'5", edge rusher. Get you a couple sacks a year. If I had to give him a comp, honestly, my comp for him, production-wise, would probably be like an AQM, if I'm being honest. I think that's probably what he is, which is not a bad thing. I think he's fine. He's fine depth. But my question for the people is if they do sign DeMarcus Walker and Zadarius Smith is passed over and Matthew Judon is passed over, are people still pissed? Even though they're addressing edge, are they still pissed? Like what? How much more? How much? If there's like a pissed meter between very pissed and not pissed, and everyone's at pissed, does it slightly kind of go towards? I like it. I at least we're added a body, or is it I'm still pissed off? Because I would understand why people would still be frustrated because he's not the answer, but it is depth at edge, and I think everyone should be cool with that, right? Depth. I mean, even if it's on Zadarius, they signed somebody. Or maybe you think Ahmed can be that guy year 1. I don't know.
All right. I'll be the one to say it. I'm the guy that put out there, I love the depth. I think it's great depth. I think they have top 5 depth in this room. But I'll say how it is, boys. You still need to add a piece. I said if you add Zadarius Smith onto this defensive line, that's a top 5 D line in the NFL, correct, boys? Do we disagree? Yeah. Instantly. DeMarcus Walker, I listen, if you bring him in, obviously your D line gets better. You're adding another piece to it. Like that's just simple math, right? 1 + 1 = 2. You're adding a piece to it. You're getting better. Is it the piece you want to go win a Super Bowl? What does he get you? 2.5, 3.5 sacks next year? Max ceiling
he had
4 sacks.
40 pressures last
year. So you're
year,
getting the pressures, okay.
Which ranked 44th.
To me, if you end up with DeMarcus Walker and you end up not, and Zadarius ends up signing a very similar deal with a different team, or Matthew Judon signs a very similar deal with a different team, or Jadeveon Clowney signs a very similar deal with a different team, and you had an opportunity to sign them and you didn't, I'm mad. Yes, I'm mad. I would rather have those guys than DeMarcus Walker. He is like, to me, if those guys are outpriced, they don't want to come to Detroit, you never had a chance, okay, fine. You bring in a piece. But outside of that, you go after those guys before you go after him, in my opinion. I do. Like I think they're just a little different level. Those are guys that could go get you 6-7 sacks that you need. He probably won't do that.
He'll get you like a couple.
Cheaper
maybe
deal,
4.
maybe. I'm
he'll
interested
get
to see the money.
Maybe 3. But here's the thing, guys. This is all just fucking spam. Matthew Judon, Matthew Judon, Zadarius Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, Demarcus Walker, insert defensive end here, and put it into the spam folder because it does not matter. It's not happening. I do not believe the Lions are going to sign another edge, period. Last year, going into week 1, when the Lions, and they should have, felt very confident they were about to go win a Super Bowl. Who were their starting defensive ends? Week 1.
It was Aiden in Davenport.
So, and are they both still there?
They are, yes.
And so do you think Brad Holmes, knowing that he just paid $6 million last year to see Marcus Davenport if he could be a starter, didn't? So let's pay him like $1 million. See if he can do it this year. Do you think he's going to try to find a starter? Or do you think he's just going to go get depth piece, training camp waiver, training camp? The starting defensive ends, at least in week 1, because there will be an injury to Marcus Davenport at some point, will be Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport. Zadarius Smith is not signing with the Detroit Lions. Matthew Judon is not signing with the Detroit Lions. There are going to be no more starting conversation, defensive end type of prospects coming to Detroit. It's not happening. It already would have been gone. They would have done it before the draft or not post-draft, try to get something to happen. But I think at this point, it's fair to say that if they're going to go acquire somebody as a starter, every time Brad Holmes makes a move for a starter, it's pretty early on in the offseason process. We haven't seen Brad Holmes late in the offseason go plug and play, hey, he just got cut. He's going to be a starter for this team. No, they usually go get a Denzel Mims, a David Long, one of those players. They don't bring somebody on late in the offseason and say, hey, go start for us week 1. That doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to have to suffer through another season of saying, hey, Aiden Hutchinson needs a running mate. And we're not going to have it, but the defensive team might be good enough to withstand it. But when you talk about specifically the Ed situation, it's still going to be a situation outside Aiden Hutchinson.
Did Klotz forget about last year's starting addition to this football team? His guy, Tim Patrick, where DPJ.
That was during the season, though, Boone.
No, it wasn't. He was cut in training camp, or he was cut in OTAs or minicamp, and they added him because guess what? All off season long, everyone, your ex wide receiver was DPJ. Guess who didn't work out? Just like, hey, your starting edge, Marcus Davenport. Guess who they might not feel comfortable with? Marcus Davenport. Guess who they didn't feel comfortable with last year? DPJ. Let this play out a little bit. There's a reason some of these edge rushers haven't signed yet. I'm not going to guarantee they sign someone, but we're not going to use the fact of, hey, they don't do it. They didn't like their ex wide receiver last year. Who started at ex wide receiver for them? Who did they bring in?
But Tim Patrick
in training
is going to sign for a vet minimum, pretty much, coming off of 2 ACLs. But when you talk about signing a Zadarius Smith versus a Tim Patrick and how easy, it's a lot easier to do that because Tim Patrick has really no other offers out there.
Why has you're literally? Thank you for making that point. Why isn't Zadarius Smith signed yet? Why isn't Matthew Judon signed yet? Why isn't Jadeveon Clowney signed yet?
Same spot. Tim Patrick and Zadarius Smith and Jadeveon Clowney and Matthew Judon. They are at 2 different ends of their career. Tim Patrick is a veteran coming off 2 major injuries. Zadarius Smith is coming off a 6-sack season with the Detroit Lions within itself. I just don't see how those are the same. Those guys are there's a reason they're not signed yet.
Hey, Demarcus Walker, good news. Played in 17 games the last 3 years.
Health is there.
Hey, well, we're already on it. Before we get to this, I'm just going to play this Mina Kimes video. You guys give your thoughts on it because I made a video, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this before we get to the PFF thing because we're already talking about edge. But here's Mina Kimes talked about the other side of Hutch and why that might be a problem. So let's take a listen.
Talk about the blitzing, how much they had to, and whether or not they can rush with 4. It really does tie back to the run defense quietly being an issue. And this was an issue, by the way, throughout the season, even before Aiden Hutchinson got injured. Because if they can get into more 3rd and longs with the help of that run defense, then it'll be easier for those 4 to rush the passer. They still don't have that guy opposite Aiden Hutchinson, another opposite pass rusher who's really emerged. Josh Pascal's still in the lineup. You mentioned Davenport, who was last year, got injured. But I think situationally they can help whoever it is opposite Aiden Hutchinson by putting them in just better spots in 3rd and longs.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Mina, Hutchinson did the Lions in sacks last season, and he only played 5 games.
Talk about the.
All right, we don't got to say that comment at the end. We didn't really need that. That's kind of a crazy context. Everyone was pretty much dead. So, I mean, you have to factor that into the equation. But if there is one thing that could derail the Lions, besides Goff going down, is it really the other side of Hutch? Because I'll say this. I said this today too. That's where I'm coming from with it. The only thing I don't agree with, if you want to say Davenport starting is a concern and it could end badly, I'm not going to argue with you on that. But to say that Brad didn't invest anything on this defensive line is where it's like, okay, they drafted in the first round Tyleik Williams. You know what I mean? Which I think Tyleik, when you look at Ohio State, you'd be lying to yourself, and you know this, Klotzy, if Tyleek's not going to make everyone better. You know, you'd be lying. Mm-hmm. He's going to make everyone better. He did it at Ohio State when he played with Jack Sawyer and JTT. He made everyone better on the edges. So to say that, they're going to be basically the same as last year. It's like, well, you're forgetting a very, very good defensive tackle that they added in the first round. That's where I get frustrated a little bit with this whole thing. It's like, I think Tyleek's going to be the one. You talk about Hutch, like, oh, he's always getting double teamed. There's going to be points this year where I think teams are going to have to double Tyleik Williams. I'm sorry. They're just going to have to. And I'm not saying the guy's, Chris Jones year one, but what I'm saying is the way he moves at his size, you got to double him. He's too big. And he's got light on his feet. It's a big fella, but he lost a lot of weight. Remember, he had 5 sacks his rookie year, his freshman year. But he lost weight. I mean, so again, is he Chris Jones or is he this elite pass rusher? I don't know. And I don't know if he's not going to be that year one. But to say that he won't get double teams and help everyone around him, like, we got to add some context to that. You know what I mean? When we talk about Hutch getting help, he is getting, maybe not on the other side of him, but on the interior, he is getting help from Tyleik Williams. He's better. I'm sorry. He's better than DJ Reader. He is. So when Aleem gets back,
to be fair,
when Aleem, go on.
I would say, to be fair, like, if that 4 offensive line, those guys are healthy even without Tyleik. Like, maybe Mina doesn't realize, like, with DJ, Aleem, Marcus, and Hutch, DJ and Aleem, you have to double one of them. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same situation. And then even, like, all right, you have no, you add Tyleik, you're double. It's just like, it's a problem. Like, no matter what lineup you have in there, if you're healthy, it presents a problem to an offensive line, because the 2 big bodies in the middle, you can't not double team those guys. Like, at least like one of them, you're going to have to, no matter what, whoever's on the field. So it opens up for Hutch. Like, you.
The one thing that does bother me about that too. Oh, Boone just muted yourself, Boone.
Oh no, this is a disaster. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
Sorry, I hit my cord over here and I unplugged my cord. I don't even remember what I was saying because I unplugged my cord. I felt like I was cooking for a second there with some.
Hey, we moved, Boone. I'll just say the one thing that was bothering about that whole part is I understand that the Lions' run defense wasn't what it has been because it wasn't healthy. But looking at it like right now, the Lions, they gave a 100-yard game to James Cook when that defense. That's the game that, like, Aleem got hurt. Tony Pollard had 94 yards, but that was basically off of one run. And Kenneth Walker, he actually had a good game throughout the whole game. But after that, like, the Lions' run defense last year was elite. So if you want to talk about the Lions' pass rush, go for it. But the Lions' run game defensively has never been an issue since Dan Campbell's taken over and Brad Holmes has been making draft picks. And last year, especially with all the injuries, like, the Lions' run defense, especially given the people are out there, was very, very good. Maybe it wasn't the Eagles' run defense, but it was up there, top 5 run defense in the league without a question about it.
And the 2 things that the misconceptions about Tyleik, and I'm already seeing it in the comments. Let me put this into context for you, okay? Last year, when you look at the Big Ten, or, I mean, you could probably go all across college football and, like, Power 5 conferences, but let's just go Big Ten. But we can, whatever you want to do. He had one of the highest double team rates of all defensive tackles. I'll say it again. He had one of the highest double team rates among defensive tackles in college. So, like, for people in the comments that are like, oh, you don't need to double them, they doubled him last year at a high rate. Yeah. And you know what his win rate percentage was? He had the highest pass rush win rate among Big Ten defensive tackles since 2017. In 2021, this is in 2021, he had a 22.1% in 2021. Like that, again, the highest pass rush win rate since 2017. It was a couple years ago, but still, he did that at Ohio State. In 1 year, 22.1%. He had a higher pass rush win rate than Dre'Mont Jones, the defensive tackle who's in the NFL now.
Yeah.
He had a 16.6% in 2017, and he's a pretty good defensive tackle. So I get people are going to look at the numbers and be like, oh, well, he's not really getting sacked, so therefore he can't rush the passer. But he was one of the highest doubled defensive tackles, and he had one of the highest win rates in 2021 since 2017. So like we have to factor that in too. I think people are lacking that context with Tyreek. So I'm excited to see what he is as a pro. I think he could be very good. All right, let's get to this PFF. The PFF article here. They did top 10 NFL linebackers, and they ranked them kind of like with the quarterbacks. They did them in tiers. So we'll get to see the tiers and how they feel about each player in each tier. So let's start with tier 1. All right. Tier 1 linebackers, according to PFF. There's one. Fred Warner. Is that? I think
end of that tier.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
mean, we can agree with that. He had the most impressive linebacker PFF grade, coverage grade, 93.3 in a 91.6 PFF run defense grade. So, but you don't even need to look at the grades. I mean, you watch Fred Warner. That guy's a freaking animal. So he's alone in the tier 1. All right. And then you go down to tier 2 and you have Zach Bond from the Eagles last year.
I'm interested in Zach Bond this year. I think it's gonna be good. I'm just he's had really one really good year. I don't, you know what I mean? I want to see if he puts it back to back years. I'm interested.
Yeah.
It's a
Zach
big year
Bond,
for him.
Based on the year, he had a crazy year. And then you look at the other linebackers. Bobby Wagner is in tier 2 still.
I'm surprised he's still up there.
I mean, Bobby had a big year this last year. I think he was really good.
He was good.
Yeah, I mean,
he's up there in dog years too.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah, maybe not quite. He's not the cover linebacker he was, but I mean, you see it: elite run defender, elite tackler, and elite blitzer. So, he's still that guy. Number 4, Roquan Smith is in tier 2. So I don't think anyone would disagree there. Roquan Smith, one of the best linebackers in the league.
Was his PFF grade 66.8? Is that what that says?
Last year, yeah. And then
low.
After Kyle Hamilton came back, he went to 81.
Okay. I was about to say 66.8 seems so low.
Yeah, it's because that defense was cooked. And then at the end, they got a little better, and he got better. He had finished with a better grade, but
so linebackers on cooked defenses. Okay. Noted.
Well, it's Roquan. We got a sample size with Roquan.
Linebackers on cooked defenses. Jeff Enriquez Iafrate.
You don't want to go down the Roquan Smith route here, Bill.
Yeah, that's a bad hill to die on.
You don't want to die on this hill with Roquan.
No, I'm not dying. I think Roquan. Well, we know Roquan. Cooked linebacker on cooked teams. Noted.
Dre Greenlaw, right behind him. He's with the Broncos now, but he's with the 49ers. So Dre Greenlaw
out for the year, isn't he?
He just got injured, didn't he?
I mean, this man is always injured. He needs to get taken off all these lists.
Yeah, Dre Greenlaw's still there.
Don't disrespect him like that.
When he's healthy, he's there, but he is never healthy.
He's healthy week 1, week 2,
he won't,
week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6 through 18. He's up.
Hold on, let me see. Dre Greenlaw injury. Let's just see. Running on the field again. He what did he do? I'm just kidding. Possible quad tear.
That's terrible.
So bad.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
He's on track to be a.
Didn't he get injured running out on the field?
Dude, yes. It literally the Super Bowl. I think Klotz literally tells us this guy gets injured in such the random ways.
Yeah,
and he's like jumping like Achilles gone.
I feel bad for him.
He kills his teammates too, bro. Like he'd be great to have on like your roster. Like I would hate to be a cornerback and like having to take on a tackle and see Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner, like having no concern for you either, and just going 100 miles into your fucking ribs or your helmet. Like, dude, When they had Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, and Azeez Al-Shire, that was the most terrifying linebacker core that we've seen in a long time. And nobody was talking about him.
Yeah.
Azeez was a menace. Still is.
The next linebacker at tier 3 now. We're into tier 3. So we got through tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 3.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Bobby
Okereke.
Thank you, Booner.
Yeah.
Okereke. He's pretty good. I mean, he's pretty.
3 straight seasons over 73 overall grade is pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean,
That's solid.
Who am I thinking of?
May I ask, like, I know it's early, what the hell is Bobby Okereke doing in any list above Matt fucking Milano? I haven't seen Matt Milano here yet, and I'm now starting. I understand he got hurt. There's no way Bobby should be over Matt Milano. Matt Milano's an all-pro linebacker. Keep going. List just
yeah. And then at number 7, Devin Lloyd, linebacker for the Jags. Which I'm shocked by this. I know like he has lapses where maybe he doesn't look great, but throughout his career with the Jags, he's been really good. When he's good, when he's on, he's on.
Yeah.
And then there's other games where maybe like I think that's why they're not really. They want him to go prove it and not give him the 5th-year option. But I actually loved him coming out of Utah. I actually wanted the Lions to get him.
They didn't give him the option to 5th year. That did that.
No, they want him to prove it, and then if he does, they'll sign him.
That's
they didn't give him a 5th-year option. But the guy again. If you want to go off stats, Boone, look at his stats. He's got stats.
I don't know why you wouldn't opt into his 5th year. If I'm being honest, that's kind of
maybe it's
shocker.
like new GM. It wasn't his pick. I don't know. He's pretty good. I mean, I don't know.
It's a shocker, to be honest.
We don't cover the Jags. I don't know like the ins and outs of Devin Lloyd. But then at number 8. Jack Campbell.
As where he should be.
There you go, Boone.
Number
where he should
8,
be.
Jack Campbell.
Right on I said top 10. He's 8th. That's respect right there to PFF. They might have messed up a couple other things. Jack should be 8, 9, or 10. I'm happy with it.
It says Campbell took a massive step forward in his 2nd season as a pro with a 78.7 PFF overall grade, ranking 4th in the NFL among linebackers with at least 600 snaps. While he's always been a plus run defender, it was his massive leap in coverage that earned his placement on the list. The 2023 first rounder, 74.2 PFF coverage grade, placed him near the top 6, a nearly 40-point jump on the grading scale over his 35.3 mark as a rookie. Another step forward in 2025 will put him in the top 5 conversation.
Still people that question his coverage. It's interesting. It's just such a crazy. People say, well, y'all don't want to look at PFF stats. Okay, well, it does measure the game.
Who are, by the way, who are people?
I hear it all the time. I do. I tweeted out the other day, is Jack Campbell top 10 linebacker? Half of the comments are just, depends what he is in coverage. I mean, top 6 in coverage. I think there's this thing. Okay. I think there's a common misconception, I think is the term I would like to use.
Jack Campbell derangement syndrome? Or?
Yeah, just where people, when they hear something about a player, like they, you know what I mean? They don't cover the team as much. They're just fans. They hear something about a player, and that's all they think of in that player. You know what I mean? For years. Like, even in 2 years, he could be the best coverage linebacker in the NFL. And they're always going to be, hey, what about in coverage, though? How is he? Like, hey, what is he in coverage? Is he? And he could be the best in the NFL at it. And I'm not saying it's just for Jack, but like players running routes or catching the ball. Like someone could drop the ball like Josh Reynolds, and then let's say the next year it comes back 0 drops. The next year people would still be like, does he drop passes? It's like he just went a whole year without doing it. But does he do it? It's like, come on now. Like, well, I just think people don't want to actually look into it. And yeah, there are lapses in coverage in year 2, especially when he has no one else around him. He had no D line in front of him. He has no other linebackers around him. The whole defense was cooked. Yeah, you're going to have spots in coverage. But when that defense is healthy and you have Anzo out there and you have your D line in front of you and Hutch in front of you and the quarterback doesn't have 15 seconds to throw the ball, then yeah, he's going to be good. But for people to be like, he's terrible in coverage, and then they're like, don't look at PFF grades. PFF, as much as we don't want to use them in situations, they still measure your production, right? Like they're not just throwing random numbers out there. They still have a measurement of your production, right? So like the fact he went from 35 to 74, You can't say he's that bad. Like he's top 6 in the NFL when they measure coverage out of linebackers. That's pretty good. However they measure it, I don't know. I don't really care because we don't dive that deep into PFF. But when they measure it, top 6, even if he was top 20, we would be like, that's pretty good for a guy that's not good in coverage.
Well, here's my
top 6 is pretty good.
It is. This is why I'm not saying that Jack is not a good linebacker. I think that's where me and you we pull hairs because it's like who's better and all this stuff. Last year we get into these little arguments. The only thing, and I actually generally I love PFF. There's things that PFF I try to look at everything because PFF does have some things where it's a little skewed or a little weird. Like, for example, let me just pitch this to you, okay? His coverage grade on PFF was a 74.2, which is improved. I'm not saying he did improve, but it says he's a top 6 cover linebacker in the NFL, okay? According to PFF. Josh Allen last year, he won MVP. His passer rating on the year was 101.4. So anything over 100 is considered excellent. Okay, Josh Allen had a 101.4. Jack Campbell allowed a 101.5 when targeted. So that's where I'm like, it's some of it. I'm not saying he's bad. I just think some of these can be a little like skewed.
You're going to have to show me this. Let's see it. Pull it up.
It's according to PFF.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pull it up. Let's see.
So if you want to go,
are you looking at the right stats, or I want to make sure?
It says passer rating allowed 101.5, which ranks 85th.
I think it's.
How are you 85th and then top 6?
2 seconds, fellas. 2 seconds. Let's take woke sports out of this. Okay, let's take PFF out of this.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying that
Campbell,
sometimes it's.
Is Jack Campbell elite against the run? Yes or no?
Yes.
Very good. Elite. Yes, he is. Is there still that jump that Jack Campbell needs to take? Yes.
I think there's a lot of.
Where would that be? It would be in coverage. Now, that doesn't mean he's ass. Doesn't mean he's out there a liability in pass coverage. But there's definitely time, especially in play action, where you're watching Jack Campbell during these Lions games, and you're like, Jack, what the hell are we doing? Now, maybe 3 plays later, he's making a good play on the ball. He's not going to be 100%. But when you turned on the TV after Jack Campbell was drafted 18th overall, it wasn't because he was elite against the run. Because somebody like that is a spot down lower and Edgerrin Cooper. That's what you heard. Not anything against the pass coverage in the box linebacker. Jack Campbell, you heard, well, when you look at his RAS score, look what he does against the run, and then look what he can do against the pass. And they're throwing highlights of him picking off C.J. Stroud. We've yet to see that season out of Jack Campbell where it's like, and it could be very well be this year, where it's like, okay, he's finally done what we've all kind of expected him to do over the last couple of years in coverage. No one has anything that's bad to say about him in run defense. But there is definitely a lot of question marks as far as getting to that level we all expected to of Jack Campbell in pass coverage going into year 3. You can say PFF scores high. That's fine. PFF scores low. That's fine. When you turn on the game and we're watching the game, Jack Campbell is not a linebacker out there shutting dudes down, in my opinion. And if you're a top 6, like, I'm not saying this directly to you, but just the argument being used, it's like, no, I don't look at Jack Campbell during the season and say that he's top six in pass coverage. I just don't see that.
There has to be a middle ground.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to say here, too, by the way. I'm not going to say he's top 6 in pass coverage. My point is, like, okay, we could say – my point is, yes, not top 6, but the way they measure it, they have him top 6, right? That doesn't mean, hey, he is that. No, it doesn't. It's just like with any other thing. Like, hey, you know, there were games where guys like Kevin Zeitler were number 1 in a certain grade. It was like, no, he really wasn't if you go watch it. Or certain, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. I know.
But I think there's still context to it. It's like, hey, if you're 6 in your position at this, you're probably still good at it. Like, you're not.
Oh, yeah. I'm not.
So that's where I think people go away and they're like, he's still really bad in cover. No, he's not. Like, I would love to see the passer rating, like, per game to see how much per like, you know what I mean? It's like maybe there was a game or two that it was like completely lopsided and it really killed his whole average in that. But if you're looking at overall coverage, obviously the way they grade it, it's not you're going to die on the hill. Hey, PFF grades it the correct way. What they say is no. But hey, they do have some sort of measurement that they take in place to put guys in certain spots to see where they're at. And I would say, hey, if he's top 6 in that, all right, he's probably top 15, maybe top 20 minimum at his position. Which, if you're telling me, I'm guessing Jack Campbell's definitely a top 10 run defender at his position. If he's top 15 coverage, he's a top 10 linebacker. Like, there are guys who don't have the whole thing, where there are guys who are just elite at run stopping, but or bottom of the NFL in coverage, or vice versa. And you don't, like, this guy has both. And I think it's rare for a linebacker to have both. That's why he was a first-round draft pick. That's why you took him there. And that's where I say, hey, last year I think people are a little clouded on the Enzo stuff by what Jack Campbell actually did. And especially what he did on a depleted defense that had nothing. And he had no run help, essentially, and no pass coverage help when it came to his linebackers and his D-line. Nothing. He had literally nothing. So that's where it's like him putting up the numbers that he did and being as high as he is graded wise PFF, whether you agree with it and want to die on that hill or not, it's still a little eye-opening being like, for him to do that with the defense that he was on, that's pretty damn good. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah, and again, I want to find a middle
And in
ground.
year 2.
I'm not saying that. I wanted to bring that up. It was really my gripe was with PFF, not you, Boone. I was just saying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And I'm not saying the guy. I'm not going to say he's bad I'm not doing that. He's not.
But
bad.
I mean, you did just, like, when you said that, it kind of made me think that you thought he was 80th in the NFL in coverage. So that made me a little like, okay, he's probably. Where can we agree on? Top 15? If you don't want to say top 6, top 15, I think is fair.
In the range of top 20, fine. I'm not even going to – I don't hate that. I mean, I just – like, because I want to make sure I'm clear, too. I don't think he's 80th.
Yeah.
80th.
Well, when you said that, that's where I was like – and people in the chat were like, oh, Booner just got cooked.
Like,
it was
PFF,
like, okay.
Like, sometimes PFF – I don't even know.
PFF just put out a top 10 linebackers list without Quincy Williams, Matt Milano, Demario Davis, and Levante David.
Levante,
those are clearly four of the top 10 linebackers in the league. And there's like,
before we move on from this, too, one gripe I have with all of this, and this is where, to all those people who think, I don't like Anzalone, I'm a Jack Campbell stan, they did, I think, top 35. They didn't have Alex Anzalone on this list.
Which is crazy.
Which is ridiculous. Alex Anzalone needs to be in the top 30. I don't care if you put him at 28, 26. I don't care. If he's not on the list, that is ridiculous. And I'm with Klotz too. Like, Matt Milano needs to be up there. There are guys.
Both of them?
No, it's again, it was the argument that I've been making with Jack and Anzo. Anzo didn't have very many good PFF grades. Like, that's where I think PFF doesn't grade. This is that middle ground, Jeff.
Like, Anzo looks great. You know what I mean?
But this is okay. This is what the Anzo argument that I have with you all the time and people. I think Anzo's his bread and butter and what he really brings to a team is his leadership and his field vision and what he's in like seeing the game. Like, I do think he's really good, like sideline to sideline. I think he's very good, but I think that's something that PFF doesn't measure, which hurts him in these things, right? Like, his coverage grade was worse than Jack Campbell. I don't know what his other grades were, but to me, it's like Anzo. Like, if you're doing your top 30 at linebackers, Alex Anzalone's
in that, dude.
and PFF just they don't take into account some of those things, which I can agree with you on.
Matt Milano. Oh, that's crazy. I think he said it. Matt Milano was an honorable mention.
That's great. Can we scroll down the rest of the list here?
Yeah, let me.
Because Levante David was like in the 20s. I'm just like, what are we?
So they got Edger and Cooper right behind him.
Who I like a lot, man, but he is not better than Alex Anzalone, like the names we just talked about.
Yeah, Edger and Cooper. TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards is really good too.
Yeah, he's very good. Very good.
11. There, your guy Quincy Williams. 11th. Tier 4, you get to Blake Cashman from the Vikings.
What the fuck are we
Actually,
doing? Like, Blake there's one very good.
There's one thing on here that Klotz is gonna love. He's gonna love.
Where's Spillane? Show me. No, I don't. Show me where Robert Spillane is.
I like Nick Bolton.
Yeah, I feel
Frankie Luvu. Frankie Luvu.
I feel like Nick Bolton should be higher, right?
Yeah, I guess it's just. I think top 15. It's like all these guys. I think there's like a group that belongs top 15.
Frankie Louvu.
Rank him how you may.
Frankie
He
Louvu's
he
good
had
now.
he had a great year last year.
Yeah, he did.
Frankie Louvu. Number 14, number 15, CJ Mosley.
He's still
a
a free
free
agent
agent.
too. I forgot about that.
Wow. Patrick Queen is right
Patrick
behind
Queen's
him at
still down there.
16. Caden Ellis.
Underrated. Disruptor.
What college did he go to?
I want to say Boston College, but I'm wrong. I already
Caden
know.
Ellis. I don't know Caden Ellis. That's it.
Me
You
and
know what?
it was ironic. Me and Easy were watching the Falcons play. I think it had to been last season.
And you were like, who
UCLA?
is Caden Ellis?
Bro, no, he's good. No, bro, I swear to God, he's good. Maybe
He
Utah.
went to.
Maybe I'm thinking of Utah.
He's
No,
from
you're
Salt
thinking of
Lake
Jonah
City.
Ellis.
Oh, he went to Idaho.
Yeah, because that's who I thought, Klotz. Jonah Ellis, the edge out of he's like 6'2"
Yeah.
edge out of Utah. That's who I was thinking of. But no, the linebacker. I don't know.
They
who
must
that
be
is.
related.
Caden Ellis is good though.
Leo Chenal. Okay.
If that would be like a saving grace. If Alex Anzalone were not to be signed, but the Detroit Lions brought in Leo Chenal and the Chiefs somehow let him walk, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. That's the exception, Leo Chenal.
And then 19, Foyesade. I don't know.
Good luck, yeah.
Jags having
Yeah.
two guys in the top 20. That's big for them.
Yeah, I don't know how to say his
That's
last name.
huge.
I know who he
Machine,
is. Don't know how to say his name. That is that's crazy work. But he's 19, and then you get to tier 5. Jordan Hicks, Demario Davis.
Hold on
Oh
a
my
sec. Hey, we're a little
God.
delayed. Hold on, Jeff. It's a little delayed here.
Oh, sorry, 21
you're good.
Demario Davis. There you go, Klotz.
That's
Demario
just
Davis,
disrespectful.
and then Levante David right
At
after
22
him.
is crazy.
No, Levante's coming off a great season too.
Yeah, Levante 22. Wow.
It's his 67 PFF grade, lowest since 2016. It was crazy. No
Yeah.
wonder they had him fall.
Insane.
Hey, JT, what you think about that, JT? Come on, baby.
JT
20
knows.
23, Robert.
There he
Spillane.
is. There he is. Should have had no business being in front of Alex Anzalone, I will say.
Thought Klotz's mic was going to blow up there. I don't know if anyone else heard that. That was
Robert-
But when you have the
Spillane.
second most
Jeez.
tackles in the NFL over the last 3 seasons, and you're doing it with no Max Crosby in front of you for the most part of last season, you're going to be on the top 25. He's a top 20 linebacker in the NFL, Robert Spillane is. Mike Vrabel's going to love him, okay? When he's out there throwing down Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Fields, everybody in Boston, everybody in what's their stadium called?
Gillette.
Gillette and Foxborough. They won't be wearing Drake May jerseys. They won't be wearing Will Campbell jerseys, Stephon Diggs jerseys. They'll be wearing Robert Spillane jerseys.
My question is, why haven't we seen the household name Zaire Franklin yet?
Household name. I don't know. I don't know.
He actually had a really
Zaire Franklin is a household name. That's come on now. I can't believe people.
He actually played well last year.
He did. He's a
He
household
always has.
name
He always
in the
has.
in the Midwest or in the AFC South. That is a household name.
Well, so it's a selective household name.
I didn't say in America. I
Geographical household name.
didn't say in America.
It's
I
a
think
Colts fan's household name. But.
he is a Colts fan's household name. He's an AFC South household name. If you're a Jags fan, Colts, Texans fan, you're there.
In that division, he's a household name. I love that. I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna steal that one. 24, Logan Wilson. Cool.
Underrated player. Logan Wilson fan.
25, Jordan Brooks.
Cooked.
26, Aziz El Shair.
I wish he didn't have like.
Whoa!
Zaire.
There he is.
Zaire.
There they
Franklin.
are.
What if we read it and it was like Franklin, the household name, continues to be a tackling machine.
Yeah, he's
Over 500 tackles in the past 3 seasons.
That's insane.
That's household, if you tell me.
That's insane, dude. And then tier 6, I don't even know. Terrell Dotson, Ernest Jones.
Yeah, like
These guys over Anzo is just so
I
And
mean,
Matt
Anzo-
Milano too is even crazier. Matt
honorable
Milano.
mentions.
Yeah,
is
Matt
just
Milano
Matt
is-
Milano.
What's crazy is it says he posted a top 15 PFF overall grade at
It's
his
the
position.
injury.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the only reason. It has to be the Anzo thing too. It's like they don't count guys if you didn't play them, if you just got hurt. You know what I mean?
I was hoping at the bottom it said no, certain guys weren't in. I was hoping it would say Anzo. Did not.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say left him off the note.
Kobe Dean gets a pass.
And Jeremiah Owosu, I mean, I like him, but there are no Anzalone.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
Is an animal though. JOK.
Yeah,
I just don't think he's had good PFF grades. That's all I think it is.
The almighty Bible now. I swear to God, Anzalone. This is ridiculous.
Who created PFF? Was that, or what's his name?
Chris Collinsworth.
That's what I thought it was, yeah. Good for him. Probably made a lot of money off it.
Still does. Makes no
Wait,
sense.
did he really create it?
I think he was the owner.
Oh, he's the majority owner, yeah.
I think he was the one that had the thought process, let's grade players in every snap.
Just as long as there's no context, but there's a number. It'll align. It'll all make sense.
I mean, good for him. He's a
probably makes a lot of money.
Dude, yeah. Shit. They ever sell that?
Now here's a guy.
They have a lot of employees too. They have a lot of people that write for them and work for them.
Good for that's a good investment. All right. It's 9:30. So I don't know what Klotz. So the thing is with Klotzy, this is what the rumor is.
Curveball this week.
The rumor is Klotz. So it's Trivia Tuesday, but the rumor's out there. What's today? What is it?
Omaha. We're going to the line of scrimmage. Okay, I know every Tuesday we usually do trivia, but I switched it up today. Go with the childhood game. Would you rather? Okay, and you know who we're going to do it with today?
Hold on.
Would you rather?
Wait.
What are we doing?
Fumble the bag. I'm trying to pull up the graphic.
There's no way we're not doing trivia.
So we're doing a
David Montgomery. So this is how it's going to work.
Is this the light in the mood after the game winner from last week? Is this what we're doing?
I'm not happy right now that we're not doing trivia. I was really looking forward to getting a win, to be honest.
Hey, Boone, you were down in the series.
We're just doing this or that for trivia.
Sure, but it's would you rather. Okay,
Wow.
and I'm going to give you, instead of 10 questions, 10 players, and you're going to tell me if you were to be an offensive coordinator, head coach, whatever, starting a team, would you rather start a team with David Montgomery or, for the first example, David Montgomery or Josh Jacobs? So, for the example is, you guys take it, and you will have 15 seconds.
This or that.
15 seconds, I'll keep it, to make your case.
So we're doing would you rather, and this question is, would you rather start a franchise with David Montgomery or...
Yeah, for this year, just this
Josh
season,
Jacobs.
who are you taking? You're not taking into account shared backfield, none of that. Would you rather have David Montgomery on your team or Josh Jacobs on your team? And tell me why. I'm interested though, boys.
Okay, so for me, this question should be relatively pretty easy. You're going with Josh Jacobs. He's the better running back. Although I love David Montgomery, if I'm starting a franchise, I want someone that can handle a lot of carries. They can both do that, but I've seen Josh do that and lead the NFL in rushing, and he had 1,300 plus yards last year and double-digit TDs. So I think he had double-digit TDs. So for me, as much as I love David, we have to go with someone that's already been a proven, very productive RB1. So with my ball knower knowledge, I'm going with Josh Jacobs, even though it hurts me to say that. But it's the truth.
Yeah, I'll just go Josh Jacobs. I mean, you said it all already. Josh Jacobs.
All right, switch order now. Now, Boone answers first, then Hefe goes second. So, Boone, David Montgomery or Alvin Kamara? Who are you taking heading into 2025? Which running back are you taking?
I got to see something here. I mean, I got to know.
No, on the spot, Boone.
Now I got to see how many games
That's
guys
what
have
makes
played.
it.
I mean, these are takes that live forever. This isn't. These are takes that live forever. This isn't. I got to make sure. Yeah, like Xavier D said, receipts.
This could be a receipt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This
Go
is
off knowledge. Go off knowledge. It's that's the you got to pick one of them. You can't.
I know. Give me Alvin Kamara.
Okay. Hefe?
If I had to start, this is again same theme. Start of franchise
Today.
Yeah, I'm taking
one season.
Oh, now we're so this question's.
I know. Go back. I said that from the jump. I said if you were a team.
Kamara, Jeff, you had to take Kamara. He had like 1,500 yards last year in 14 games. Damont had 14 games with like 1,200 yards. Kamara's no matter what, Kamara's the playmaker. If he's healthy, he's the playmaker. They played the same amount of games too. It's like, would you rather have a Jahmyr Gibbs style guy or a I don't know, a Dameon Pierce style guy? I'm not saying Dameon Pierce, but I'm just saying running the ball. Like I'm talking about a bruiser. I'm
gonna go with Dave Montgomery.
You don't believe that?
Yeah, I do.
Really, no, you don't.
Why.
You just want to play towards the people.
You can have Alvin Kamara's 4.2 and 3.9 and 4 yards per carry the last 3 years. I'll take someone that is a bruiser, but someone that I think in this point in time is a better runner of the football. Even though Kamara, yes, better pass catcher, I don't think Demon's to the point where you're like, he had 340 yards last year. He's fine catching the football. I just think playing the running back position, who's going to fight for yards and up that yards per carry, it's going to be David Montgomery. Alvin is a 19 carry for 40-yard kind of guy the last couple of seasons. I just don't. I'm okay. I love Alvin, but in 2025, give me David Montgomery.
All right, well, we'll have to drug test Jeff tomorrow after that answer. Boone, I'm afraid you're correct. So if this was trivia this week, Boone, you're walking away with the W. You're on crack. Moving on. Jeff's taking Alvin Kamara. David Montgomery or Joe Mixon? Which one are you taking? Joe Mixon coming off a career year in Houston. Numbers were put up, a lot of numbers, especially he was hurt, came back, and it was amazing. Had him on my fantasy team, loved it. Too bad Puka was hurt, Brandon Ayuk, Mahomes was ass. But if you had to pick one, Hefe, Joe Mixon or David Montgomery?
Yeah, I think Mixon, I got to give him the edge here. Mixon had a pretty good year, although he didn't finish the way he started, especially that Lions game. He didn't play well. He missed a couple games, but he started the year with, 5 out of the 6 games, the first start of the year. 5 out of the first 6 games, he had 100-plus yards. With that O-line, yeah, I'm going to go Joe Mixon. I'm going to go Joe Mixon here. He can catch the ball, too. I don't think it's a crazy difference, but I'm going to give it to Mixon.
Yeah, I'm going to go Joe Mixon as well. I think he's been pretty consistent over the years. He has, 5,000-yard seasons, it looks like here. He has a year with 13 touchdowns. This last year had 12 total touchdowns. Like Joe Mixon. I love D-Mont, but Joe Mixon.
All right. So both same answer there. I'm interested for this one because it's kind of a different one. David Montgomery or Bucky Irving down in Tampa Bay? Which one are you taking heading into 2025? Bucky Irving? Bucky.
Yeah.
Right. David Montgomery.
This is an easy one. If we're taking him this year, give me Bucky Irving. Again, I love D-Mont, but Bucky, what did he have? He had 1,200 rushing yards alone, or 1,100, almost 400 receiving yards. Bucky's one of the better backs in the NFL now. He's top 10. I love Bucky Irvin's very, very good.
Yeah, and he was sharing a backfield, man.
Yeah.
He's sharing a backfield.
He took yards. Rashad White's job. Took it. Snagged it from him in broad daylight.
Well, he had big games and big games, which I like about Bucky too. So he shows up when it's time to go. So I like Bucky. He's a playmaker. I think, what was he, 5.4 yards a carry? That's ridiculous, dude. I mean, shit. Every 2 carries, man's getting you a first down. Give me that. I'll take Bucky. Right. He's a better playmaker.
So we're taking Bucky over D-Mont. Okay, yeah, I thought somebody was going to take D-Mont there. I'm not going to lie. I agree
realistically, man, Bucky Irvin's a dog, man.
Yeah, you got to go Bucky.
Like Etienne said, you could say he's top 8.
Yeah.
You can argue he's one of the better running backs in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Boone. David Montgomery or Kyron Williams?
Well, I think
this is all going to come full circle. I think I just want to.
I know what you're doing here. I already know what you're doing here. You just took your top 10 wide receivers and did it him or D-Mont. I saw your tweet today. Don't worry.
Or top 10 running backs, you mean?
Running
No,
backs,
I
yeah.
just want to see where everybody has him ranked. I'm interested.
This is Kyron. Kyron's an all-pro wide or running back.
Yeah,
this
Kyron.
This one's not close as well.
I love
All right.
Kyron. He's I think he's underrated, to be honest with you. So give me Kyron Williams. He's a dog.
David Montgomery or Devon A-Chain down in Miami? Which one are you taking? Devon A-Chain, very explosive. Injury concern is there, but when he's on, Devon A-Chain's like a top 6 running back in the NFL.
Yeah, at least David will play. Who goes first?
I mean, I'll just say, give me David Montgomery. Speed and skill is all cute and everything, but A-Chain played 17 games at 900 yards. If D-Mont played all 17 games, he's clearing that. He did last year, cleared it, and he only had 6 touchdowns. A-Chain did. I'll just go D-Mont. I think this one's easy. I don't think this one's close, to be honest. I think A-Chain. I mean, you could just look at the skills, be like, oh, he's so fast. He's got all the skills. All right, do something with it. Show me something.
Something.
These are one of those things where people are just like, I'm going to throw him in front of him because he has so much skill. He could be so good. Okay, why hasn't he then?
Yeah, I mean, he had almost 600 receiving yards, so like I get the all-purpose stuff, but it's just not really. I look at, if you told me this after his rookie year, I'd probably be a little more hesitant. But I'm gonna go with D-Mont. Dude's a bruiser.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with D-Mont here.
Right,
I can at least trust
when
when he plays, he's gonna play and he's gonna play hard. So give me David.
All right, we're going to keep the injury bug going, but with a better player, in my opinion. David Montgomery or Breece Hall? Which one are you taking?
Breece Hall. Breece Hall is just he's when he's good, he's top 10 no matter what. Breece Hall is very good. I'm gonna pull up his stats real quick too because I think we had this conversation last season with Breece to where he had almost 1,400 all-purpose yards.
Here,
almost 1,400 all-purpose yards. It's crazy.
Here's the thing. I was told by ball knower Lukas Klotz that Breece Hall was going to shock the world. And I think Klotzy, I've came to the realization that he has not indeed shocked the world yet.
Not yet.
I'm going to go with David Montgomery as of right now.
So you're taking D-Mon over Breece?
Yeah,
I guess maybe I have gone both
done.
ways here with Breece and A-Chain,
I'm
as
just
people are
done
saying.
talking up potential. I got to see the shit first. I haven't seen anything what everyone's selling me. It's like
That's insane.
Can I stay consistent and just switch back just to be consistent? That's all.
I mean,
so you're going back to D-Mon.
Yeah, I'll just be consistent. I'm with Jeff. Jeff, I apologize for being an inconsistent teammate. I'll go D-Mon.
Yeah, I mean, Klotzy's
I'll stay
over
consistent.
here. I mean, the guy's going to shock the world. Can he just get 1,000 yards in a season? Can we just
Same
go
thing
out?
where it's like, hey,
He
skill,
needs some help
speed.
on the offense side of that football. That offense just been
I'm not denying that.
Wait, what do you mean? Like offensive line help?
Offensive line help, quarterback help.
Okay. I think I remember during the
coaching
draft,
help.
you said, screw offensive line, go get a tight end. Offensive line help.
Hey, you know who's going to block you, though?
Interesting.
Tyler Warren.
Full
Tyler
circle.
Warren blocks.
Full
Tyler
circle.
Warren
Offensive line. Build the O-line.
Gotcha. No, I'm going
Tyler
D-line.
Warren blocks, too. Moving on.
He can't play tackle.
Breece Hall, you both went with D-Mon. We move to James Cook over in Buffalo. David Montgomery or James Cook?
This shouldn't
Who are you
be.
taking?
We don't need to have this conversation at all. Jeff, if you think about this, we are no longer friends. If you think about no.
I think
This is one of the easier ones on the panel tonight. This is James Cook. Man had 18 touchdowns and 1,300 all-purpose yards. James Cook. You're taking over D. I love D-Mont.
Not paying James Cook $15 a year, though.
We're not talking about paying. We're talking about one year. James Cook, 18 touchdowns. That's with having Josh Allen taking touchdowns as well. You're taking James Cook,
Listen,
Jeff.
I'm gonna lean.
No. He had 1,500. He had 1,500 all-purpose yards in 2023.
I'm gonna lean.
Yeah, but what Boone? The question that people are going to ask is, what would David Montgomery do in that Buffalo offense if he was just invited?
James Cook. You're taking James
There you
Cook.
go, Klotz.
No, you're taking. You could say that with David Montgomery on any of these offenses, and he's going to put up numbers because he's not sharing the backfield. But James Cook is up there.
Like, when at the end of the UFC fights, it's like 48-47, 48-47, 48-47. James Cook. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's a.
All right. So both go James Cook, but it's close. It's leaning James Cook. He didn't run away with it, but leaning. Okay, fair. Let me find. I believe two more fellas.
My friend on the show here. I'm gonna go
two more fellas. Okay. I think this should be the easiest one here. Okay. Don't even really want to ask, but this one should be.
Who's this next guy?
Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, or David Montgomery.
Jonathan Taylor.
I'm gonna lean.
Oh my god, this is insane.
No, I'm joking. I gotta go, Jonathan Taylor here.
Okay. And final, this is the one that I was pulling hairs with, where I couldn't decide myself. But I'm interested to see what you guys have, and I'll gather my intel, full intel. David Montgomery or Aaron Jones?
David Montgomery. This is just out of respect. Has nothing to do with any play or any stats, anything. Just give me David Montgomery.
You just haven't been choosing him, so you're just going back to him, or
who? Me? No, I just out of respect. I'm not choosing Aaron or Delvin Cook. I don't like Delvin Cook. I'm not choosing him over.
No. It's Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Or Aaron Jones. Sorry, yeah. I'm not doing it. The James Cook Vikings thing just really, and his brother Vikings just really threw me off. I'm not doing it still.
I'm gonna go D-Mont.
Thank you. D-Mont in that offense, if we really were going to do that, D-Mont in that offense would put the numbers up that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go D-Mont here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go D-Mont here. Like Aaron Jones. Just gets hurt.
Yeah.
All right, so after intel gathered, we have Jeff as being the number one D-Mont fan on the show, and Boone would be probably number 2, me being 3. We all like D-Mont, though. And so with this, we would all agree, because I think you guys would agree, Bijan, Saquon, Jameer, CMC, Derrick Henry, no questions asked, right?
I'm not going to, yeah.
Okay. So with that, we all agree that D-Mont, except for Jeff is going to be one over. Jeff has D-Mont as a top 14 running back in the NFL, and Boone, you have him as a top 12 running back in the NFL.
Wait,
that was all Jay votes for.
Yeah, vice versa.
I want to do the game; it'd be good for socials or whatever. But I couldn't think of anything entertaining. So
I have him higher. So I have him 12. Boone has.
You have him 12.
Yeah, I switched it up, but yeah.
Yeah, no.
I just wanted to see, because David Montgomery's one of those guys where you just see him and you're like, he could be so good. But I was just interested to see where he'd fall with your guys' ranking in it.
Yeah, I think he's a top 15 back in the NFL.
Yeah. Sure. I was worried for a second that you were going to be like, to Jeff, he is top 8 or something. No, top 7. No, top 12. You know what? I can get with that, Klotz. I think that's that's probably where he should be ranked. I saw your running back ranking list. I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute. Yeah, I thought the top was right for the most part.
Who do you have issue with?
I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't.
A-Chain, I would take A-Chain out, but outside of that, we're good.
You had was he in the top 10 for you?
Was James Cook in your top 10?
I was fighting between him or A-Chain. I went with
James Cook is over A-Chain every day.
James Cook.
Were you praising him?
A-Chain, when I watch A-Chain,
I saw A-Chain. I was like,
closest thing to Gibbs in the NFL.
Okay. Jeff, this is one of those things where people are like, they're so good. They look so good. If they're that close, Klotz, why aren't they putting up the numbers? They should be.
A-Chain's a lot smaller.
Exactly. So it knocks him down on the list. So he's not top 10.
I agree, but I just think Devon A-Chain, James Cook, who's a better football player? Give me
James Cook.
I think just James Cook
stays healthy. 18 touchdowns, the 8 touchdowns.
But if you had Josh Allen, you lead down the field, and you're Devon A-Chain, he's going to be walking away with that, and he's miles above James Cook.
Can't knock the man because he's on a good team.
Yeah, but you also can't discount one because he's on a bad team.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can.
I'm sorry, Klotz. I mean, this is the rank.
A-Chain should not be on the list. That's to me, it's like you have to prove more. You can't be, in my opinion, personally.
He was insane his rookie year. And then he was every game. Like if you look at his like total scrimmage yards in the games that he played, because he's really not even a weapon like that.
Kyron should be higher.
No. Here's the thing. Yeah, Klotz, in your top 7, impressive.
Good.
How on God's green earth is Alvin Kamara higher than Kyron Williams?
Did you guys see what Alvin Kamara did before he got hurt in last year by chance?
I've seen
Saints
what he's done in the
bum-ass
last 3
roster.
years, and it's about 3.9 yards.
No. Total yards here, because let's think about quarterback play. Let's think about who's on the outside. You're stopping Alvin Kamara when you go up in the Saints, and they can't throw the ball. So let's go to like total scrimmage yards, Alvin Kamara, and look what he's been doing: touchdowns, everything.
So are
Alvin
we
Kamara was
knock
a top
kids
5
for
running
having
back,
a
probably
really-
going into last year, 5-6 running back. He drops a little bit. But if you put Alvin Kamara not on the New Orleans Saints, say you put Alvin Kamara on the Denver Broncos or put him in the San Francisco 49ers in a good situation, like how Saquon went to the Eagles. You do that with Alvin Kamara, that dude is going to be a top 5 running back unanimously.
That I just so if we're bumping guys up because of the lack of offensive line, are we knocking guys down because of their offensive line?
Granted, like tell me how many total
Jeff,
yards
thank
he
you.
had last year.
Me and you got in this argument before about certain guys, and I don't when I do my list, I don't mark them based off. It's what are you doing? Like I'm not gonna.
That's where it gets tricky, Klotz.
Yeah, I don't do that. I'll stay away from that. If you performed, I'm putting you on my list.
I
got
got.
I'm saying in 2023, 2024. So you look at the full season that he had 2 years ago, and then what he was doing before he got hurt this year. Alvin Kamara is still very fucking good, and he's doing it in a terrible situation, and he's still putting up numbers. Like that offense is strictly Alvin Kamara because Chris Olave is getting suicide balled, sent to the hospital with a concussion every other week.
Okay, so are we going to bring up the 3 games where he had less than 20 yards or no?
I mean, again, like he's the only guy that they're game planning for, and even rushing yards. He's never been like when Alvin Kamara was at his peak. Alvin Kamara has never rushed for 1,000 yards.
He never got a lot of rushing yards. I agree.
Yeah, like that's not his style. If you go look at his total yards,
you got to look at Kyron being top 7 in rushing yards. He had double-digit TDs. You know what I mean? Like he was
absolutely.
TDs,
like Kyron,
yards.
A lead on the ground is a lead on the ground, but he doesn't sniff Alvin Kamara through the ground. And if you put these guys on level playing fields and ask seriously, if these guys are in the same situation, who is the better football player, Alvin Kamara or Kyron Williams?
This is, by the way, better football player. What do you mean by that? At their position,
best overall player, Alvin Kamara, Kyron Williams.
But you're ranking top 10, not football players, running backs.
That's the thing with A-Chain and James Cook. It's who performed last year. Give me Kyron over Alvin. Give me
top
James Cook in there.
You're taking James Conner over Alvin too. If you're going on production of last year, you're taking a lot. Najee Harris had 1,000 yards. Saquon over Alvin Kamara.
Saquon, I mean, he's great, but Saquon also had 2,000 freaking yards. You know what I mean?
Right. Derrick Henry had more rushing yards than Jahmyr Gibbs. Bijan had more rushing yards than Jahmyr Gibbs. Christian McCaffrey didn't even play last year.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're knocking players for their situations, like the players that are in great situations, how do you know that their numbers aren't just because they're in good situations? Maybe
because
you got
we
to
saw Saquon and the Giants for the past 3 seasons.
But I'm just saying it's the consistency of it all. Like,
what do we do? Boone.
You're knocking James Cook because he's in a good situation, but you're saying Alvin is a.
I told you. I'm putting them in equal situations and saying who is the better player between these guys, just pound for pound, overall game.
We got into an argument, Klotz. You'll appreciate this, Boone. Last week, Klotz, we got into an argument with Jared Goff and Stafford.
Yeah.
You know what you brought up to me about the Rams with Stafford? You know what one of the arguments was? The offensive line. That's what you brought up and how he overcomes the offensive line.
Oh, no.
Apparently, it's just far better than what they have. Like, what are we doing here, Lucas?
Okay, so let's go back to the conversation that we literally
Take
just
sip
had,
of water,
and let's apply it to the conversation that I simply asked you with Matthew Stafford. Like, who's a better pound-for-pound football player, Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff? And that's where you're like, it's Matthew Stafford. So who's a better pound-for-pound football player, Alvin Kamara, Kyron Williams?
Well,
I'm going Alvin Kamara.
Quarterback. better quarterback, which I ended up saying, you know what?
They all play fucking quarterback. What are we talking about here? These guys all play running back.
I mean, what is Alvin going to do? You want to see who can throw a better pass? I mean, what are we doing? Are they playing running back?
I mean, if we're being realistic, he has thrown a couple passes. He probably does throw better than Kyron. So we want to go on that road. Better overall football player. Kyron is very, very good. But I think when you look at these guys, pound for pound, it's close. They're 8 and 9. Alvin Kamara is the better all-around football player.
I don't know how you snuck in Achane and Alvin. Those are two we got to.
Saying Alvin Kamara is not a top 10 running back in the NFL is blasphemous. If you're okay seeing Jonathan or Josh Jacobs up there, no issue. But you're like, Alvin Kamara should not be on this list is insane.
Yeah.
3 points. I just want to know. I just want to know. Next time a running back gets 3.9 yards a carry, you're going to put him in the top 10. As long as he's a good football player and he's producing.
This has been Alvin Kamara's whole career. What are we talking about?
3.9. I get
so is this list based off of full career? I'm just asking.
This is going into 2025.
Oh yeah, give me James Cook.
No.
Give me
James Cook very good.
Put James Cook at 10.
Here, Klotzy. They got Devontae Adams now.
Wait a second. Bucky Irvin's not on the list?
Bucky was going to be on there. I was fighting it.
Jeff, this list is done. We're done.
You know what? I'll take Bucky over Alvin Kamara right now.
Yeah, give me Bucky, man.
Close.
I think Bucky and James Cook. Bucky and James Cook need to be in the top 10.
I don't agree with James Cook. I like James Cook. Bucky
They both need to be in there. They both need to be in there.
Out Achane, in Cook, in Bucky.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you.
I don't mind.
I think that's a perfect list. That's a perfect list. Move Kyron up one or wherever you want to put Kyron. Add James and Bucky at the 8 or 9, 10 spot.
You guys are actually saying that Alvin Kamara is not a top 10 running back in the NFL.
I can't. Top 12, and we think he's really good. What's wrong with that? He's really good.
When you're saying to me that at this point that Alvin Kamara, after watching what he's done over the last 2 years,
this year.
Yeah, this guy is living out of the past with Alvin Kamara. Hey, man, it's not 2018 anymore. 2019.
He's going to be 30.
He's no longer in his prime. This isn't prime Alvin Kamara.
He's going to be 33, and he's been splitting a backfield pretty much, except for the whole 2 years that he's been there, last 2 seasons.
Like he had okay. You know,
I don't know what else to say.
Tell me, Jeff, elaborate.
Klotz has trouble moving on from old players with new ones and letting the new guard in. He's like one of those old heads in football. We don't want the new guard to come in and take over.
Achane sitting at 10.
Why? Yeah, well, James Cook and Bucky Irving are two of the youngest.
Bucky should have been on. I agreed with you about Bucky. Bucky should have been on.
James Cook not being on there too is crazy too. Like James Cook had 18 touchdowns in like the last 2 years. He had 1,500 yards and like 13 or 1400.
And Josh Allen's rushing numbers completely went down. What I'm saying is James Cook is like he's in a
he took touchdowns away from James Cook.
Well, when you look at James Cook, he can't like out of the backfield catching the ball. Not good.
Honestly, and with all due respect, you never gave James Cook. I remember last year having the Bills conversation, and you always been like James Cook's not as good as he looks. You've been consistent. I respect you're consistent with it. But I don't like the fact that he just doesn't. He could put up 1,700 yards and 20 touchdowns, and you'd be like, he's just. It's just because of the situation.
Hold on. No. Jeff, did me and you not get an argument when James Cook said I deserve $15 million? I would say I'd pay James Cook $15 million.
You told me you didn't think he was last year. You told me you didn't think he was that good. You said that. Remember we had the Dalvin Cook, James Cook conversation, and I was like, Dalvin in his prime, yes. But we had the conversation where it totally flipped to, is James Cook an actual good running back in the NFL? And you were like, I'm not taking him. I'm not doing it. I remember this conversation because you guys were all hating on the Bills. Even Gentry was like, James Cook isn't that. Dude, all of you, I remember. Don't.
What James Cook is a good NFL running back, and he's very good for what the Bills want to do. But they have Ty Johnson as a third down running back who's having his career year. Ray Davis was going nuts. Davis. The Bills running back room is very good, but James Cook is limited, or they wouldn't have 3 running backs in that rotation. Like James Cook is very good in between the tackles compared to Alvin Kamara. But no, like if Alvin Kamara was in Buffalo, dude, that'd be fucking insane. Everybody would be like, Alvin Kamara, top 10 running back.
I don't understand. Like, this is where me and you disagree. Like, you're acting like Alvin Kamara, like, plug him with this team. Like, the dude's going off.
He's Saquon.
He's missed like 4 games a year. Klotz, he's going to get hurt again. It's just how it works.
He's good. I think Klotz thinks we're saying he's bad. He's very good.
No, I think you guys
are just guys that are passing him up because of injuries.
like, okay, who did good last year? Okay, Alvin Kamara, like he's averaging 3 points. Who else are you stopping on the Saints? And what are the Saints doing? They are losing. Do you want them to hand the ball off to Alvin Kamara when they're down 14 in the third quarter? Or do you want them to check the ball down to him and say, hey, go work?
Hey, who you stop? Who? By the way, this is my problem. Again, it goes back to you're pumping him up because of the situation. And you're like, well, that guy's fine.
And that's the reason you guys are knocking him down is because you're like 3.9 yards per carry. It's like, yeah, what the fuck else do you think is going to happen? Like, what are we doing here? Like, you're standing number. It's like, bro, fuck out of here.
No, I watched. Hey, Klotz.
Oh, you watched the Saints, huh?
No. You know why? Hey, guess what the boys were doing? Betting. I had money on Alvin Kamara. I used to remember one of the props I used to do?
Catches.
25, catches or 25 receiving yards. I'd be watching this man going, another carry and a yard and a half.
His rushing. And he would have like big break-off ones, but it was just like consistency. Maybe not there anymore.
That's never been his game. So
well,
it's like,
to that point, then, and to that point, he's getting older, so it's even declining more. And it's like he's not prime Alvin Kamara anymore. He's good Alvin Kamara. He's not good. Prime Alvin anymore. It's just his prime top 5.
Give me D-Mo.
Hey, if Alvin goes out there and proves us wrong this year, I'll throw him in my top 10. Until then, he's outside the top 10. Guys who have proven it. I'm not gonna cut guys out that have put the production up and have proven it just because other guys are in bad situations. I've been consistent with that for years. I got an argument with Jeff. I've been trying to think about what it was, but I might have been offensive line or something to where Jeff was arguing with me one time. Yeah. Being like, well, this guy's it was Bijan and Jameer. And I was like, Jameer is just a better player. I'm not going to hurt Jameer and put Bijan over him just because Jahmyr Gibbs is in a good offense. That's not what it is. Jameer's producing, and he's splitting the backfield and putting the same numbers up as Bijan. I'm taking Jahmyr. I'm not gonna just throw Bijan up there because, he's got a bad offense. He doesn't have a great offensive line. So if he was in a good spot, he would be top 4. No, he's where he is because of the team he's on and the production he gives. It's the same thing with every other player. Yes, if he's on a better team, you could say that with almost every guy in the NFL. I'm sure there's guys who would love contracts based off of what team they would be on if they would produce. That's not how this league works. That's not how rankings work. That's not how it works. It's what are you doing in the position you're in? At that point, hey, go sign with another team if you want to have a better outlook, if you want people to look at you differently. But don't sit here and do that to me. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, Bucky had such a good year, but Elvin's better. No, Bucky produced.
Yep.
James Cook produced. Put some respect on 18 touchdowns, 1,500 yards, while your quarterback had 15 rushing touchdowns as well. Put some respect on that.
So you're going to tell me
put the ball on that.
So you're going to tell me Bucky and James Cook are on the same exact level, and I'm going to tell you you're on crack.
I'm taking Bucky.
Bucky is a way better running back than James Cook. But why would you? How can you say that? Look at Jamal Williams when he had 18 fucking rushing touchdowns, 20. He was not a top 10 running back in the NFL.
Taking
but
both
if you go look at the numbers and you can't knock him because look at the numbers.
One year though, Klotz.
But in that year, was he a top 10 running back in the NFL? No, you can't.
I'm taking James Cook, 1,500 yards, 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns, and Josh Allen had 15. That man goes out there and produces.
Okay. I understand your point.
What wide receivers do they have? What wide receiver one do they have? What other weapons do they have?
The Bills?
James Cook. Oh, Khalil Shakir, Amari Cooper with his whole 200 yards.
All right, we got to end the show.
Maybe the MVP, Booner.
Maybe the MVP.
All right, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. We'll be back tomorrow. Jason Cabinda.
Don't hurt a guy for a situation. Respect.
Hey, this will be a storyline. Another one. It's like the Bills thing, Alvin Kamara. We'll see how this
I'll agree with you about Bucky, and James Cook's very good.
You just said you disagree with Bucky. Don't try and do that now.
No, he agreed with Bucky, but James Cook, he's not agreeing.
Hey, Boom, let's listen, huh?
I disagree.
You said Elvin over Bucky.
I did, but I said Bucky should be on the top 10 list. You guys are right.
Okay.
All right, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Be there, 8 o'clock. Until then, peace.